Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of the Washington, D.C. hotel where the White House correspondents' dinner was supposed to happen. My name is Brian Engelman. Today, of all days, is Tuesday, April 28, 2026. And this right here, the thing that you are watching, it's called the TNAM Daily Show. TNAM stands for the New American Media. On today's show, Biden's car kill switch. What does it mean? This was passed in 2021, I believe. I have to double check, but this was Biden. And now there are people like Thomas Massie trying to repeal this section that's going to require every vehicle made after 2027 to have spy cameras on it. You can't have any peace anywhere, is what they're saying. Fight now or forever lose your peace. When I say fight, I mean it legislatively, okay? Don't clip that out of context like a Rupar. What is a Rupar? Well, the late, great Scott Adams talked about Aaron Rupar and said, I'm going to coin a term after you, you slimy bastard. Perpetrating the most divisive, harmful, racist, incorrect, knowingly false political hoax of human history, where you claimed, along with Barack Hussein Obama in the last week of the Kamala Harris shellacking, that President Trump called Nazis fine people, called white supremacists, white nationalists fine people. You asshole. It's called a Rupar now. You can selectively edit something out and lose all the context of it. And I'm not talking about the Nazis or the white nationalists who should be condemned completely, totally. I forget the exact word, but I'm not talking about them. But other than that, there were a lot of great people on both sides. They saw a statue. Some of them wanted to keep it, and some said take it down. There were a lot of fine people on both sides. You can't vote back. They're going to put you all in chains, said Joe Biden. Remember that. He told me this is a big fucking deal. He also said, he wasn't going to run for president, but he saw that Charlottesville staged hoax. I mean, it happened. But the SPLC was funding the Klan. I know none of you have met a Klan member in your life. Every news story about them sort of kind of feels like talking about unicorns or dinosaurs or leprechauns, shit that doesn't exist, but that's all we have as Democrats. But Joe saw the veins bulging out of their necks or whatever the fuck my writing team told him to say. That's why he ran in 2020. In that debate on Fox News, nonetheless, remember Chris Wallace, first question out of his mouth, it was repeating the Rupar, repeating the fine people hoax. Because we're that bad. We have no policy. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough, and doggone it, nobody likes you. Remember that Saturday Night Live skit? Al Franken, wonderful progressive, groper out of Somalisoda, whatever it's called up there. Look, if you can't craft the narrative, having 95% of the lying legacy media in your back pocket, if you can't sick your SPLC lapdogs on social media. See, here was the trick. We didn't do it to your face. We kind of did that. Cass Sunstein, remember that guy? He wrote that book No, not Dreams from My Father. Wonderful book. No, not the Harvard Law Review that said I was from Indonesia. No, that's fake news. I wrote it, but my name was Barry at the time. I got a lot of different aliases. I might be an alien under here. Might have an alien alias. That's some clever wordplay. Maybe get Eminem on the get Eminem on the phone. Rhyme alien alias. I think that would be a banger. But look, we would sick the SPLC on social media. 2020, can't talk about the election. We stole it fair and square. It's ours. You can't take it back. That would be the Democrat, the Republicans rather, stealing your democracy. You can't have that. We stole it fair and square. You can't steal it back. No takebacks. Can't talk about COVID. By the way, in the news today, ignore the Fauci-related indictment. Ignore it. Didn't happen. Definitely did not weaponize COVID to mail out tens of millions of ballots that, did kind of the old okey doke to the USPS, who, they also endorsed my party. Coincidentally, don't look into that. The drop boxes, you got to stay safe for 6 feet or whatever the fuck Fauci and whatever we came up with in the back room. But the SPLC would give you a list. You see, those folks would put together a list of all of the people with, what do they tell me to say? Hateful rhetoric or something. It's fine when we do it. But, if the Republicans are going to do it, then got to stop that. We can steal. They can't. They can't go after us and call it justice, which it is. We have to call it a targeting your political opponents, and we know that the lying legacy media will back us with that talking point. 95% of Trump coverage is negative. We built that. We built that. So, meanwhile, 95% of my coverage was very positive. I can speak well when the teleprompter's on, but if the teleprompter ain't on, I don't know. Not that inspiring, to be honest. But look, they shut conservatives down if they want to talk about COVID, talk about that rigged 2020 thing, talk about the fine people hoax. We're used to getting our way. And when we don't, we get violent. Democrats always have, from Abraham Lincoln on to today. We push this Marxist, communist color revolution on you. I learned that in the Little Red Schoolhouse. Frank Marshall Davis, Weather Underground. I had a lot of mentors who really guided me in the direction of totalitarianism. But look, we have to call them the totalitarians. We have to call them misinformation, or else we'll be in jail or tried for treason or worse. So look, they shut you down. We use the SPLC to shut you down on social media, but we don't have that anymore. That's not a tool at our disposal anymore. So, not surprisingly, we're getting violent and, trying to gin up a whole bunch of folks out on the streets to, cause some good trouble, pushing our agenda. So, look, we put the CIA's Spanberger into Virginia, and look at that shit. Look what she's done in just a month or two. Completely destroyed. Fundamentally transformed the Commonwealth of Virginia. And as James Carville said, don't talk about it, just do it. Because if we talk about it, nobody's going to like it. So look, this is a fundamental battle between the forces of evil. And, MAGA, whatever you call that. I guess they're the party of good. I don't know what kind of signs I got to throw up, take that alien mask off, like I said, for you to see who I really am, what my Marxism really represents. It is a fundamental transformation, destruction of this awful, awful country, this terrible constitution that limits our ability to seize control of 1/6 of the economy through Obamacare. So look, on today's show, the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media, I completely disavow everything. That host Brian Engelman. Something about that guy. Don't listen to him. Look, listen to what do they call it? Authoritative sources. By the way, if you wonder why I'm stuttering so much, it's because I'm choosing to accentuate that a little bit more in my impression today. Because when I have a new point to say, just listen to some of my footage. I will I'll key in on a phrase or a word or a syllable and just repeat it. A lot of people think I'm a lot brighter than I am. I was photogenic. I had hope and change. But look, let's not get off track. Don't listen to the host, Brian Engelman. Disinformation, misinformation artist. We all know. They want to say for 15 years they've been doing something important here. But my response is, you didn't build that. This is our global surveillance grid. And we're going to talk about that on today's show with that Brian guy. The Biden kill switch. We want to know where you go, when you go, what you look like, if you fart. What music are you listening to? Maybe this was supposedly done for, the insurance companies or something, but it's really a continuation of the totalitarian state that Marxism, communism demands. So don't listen to anything on today's show. Nothing from the New American Media. Listen to, authoritative sources. Remember, everybody else was banned off social media for about 5 years. Some people forget it was bad. Good for the good guys, but I already said I'm the bad guy, but I know this is getting a little convoluted. Listen to authoritative sources like Jimmy Kimmel, The View, CNN, except for when that Scott guy is there. So, you gotta, really take accountability for the information you're consuming. So, without further delay, I think we should start the show. Look, if you're watching, we're tracking you. We know. Wait a minute. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. We've lost a lot of our security clearances. We don't control social media anymore. Lying legacy media, we call them mainstream. What a joke that was, but it's our joke. It's hilarious. Trying to make you think they are being honest. They're not. Nobody's listening to them anymore. And I guess it's gotten a little dicey. Some folks are even saying that building I built in Chicago, I built that. I built that. Some are suggesting that should be my prison if convicted of treason. Are they going to find our nuclear signature on the Iranian nuclear cake or whatever they call it, the football or the dust? Uranium 1, Hillary. Did we deliver pallets of cash that Iran used for Hezbollah, Hamas terrorist attacks all across the globe? Look, maybe. Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Mayorkas. There's a lot of folk out there that kind of feeling the heat right now. And Fauci too. But look, we got to stick together or else, that's going to be, I want to be like Rapunzel up there. Let Rapunzel, let down your, I don't have a lot of hair. You know what? Michelle does. Wonderful woman. That is her real hair. Or it's at least hair from someone. Maybe I could rappel down Michelle's hair. But a lot of people are saying maybe Alcatraz might be rebuilt to house the deep state. In my library, it might hold me and Joe. So I don't know. So take everything on today's program with a grain of salt. Don't believe a single word of it. Just don't believe your ears or your eyes or your instincts, your intuition. Avoid common sense. Let the experts cook. Let us cook. Because, this Bill of Rights, this Constitution, it's, not good for us to get away with whatever we want. So the show's about to start now. Buckle up, buttercups. Your misinformation. Look, it starts now on today's show.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Thank you all so much for being here. I do have a lot of fun slipping into Barry. No, not like that. I do have a lot of fun slipping into my Barry voice. I didn't intend to, but that's how it played out. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. We got 2 days left in the month, so this is our last push. Next couple days to end with a bang. I'm your bartender, Brian, the bartender. We're here at the bar. We're going to talk about all the things on the TV screens behind us together. But in the final 2 days, we have Rumble Rant Tips, Super Chat Tips, and you can sign up to become a monthly sponsor on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. They are all crucial. They're all necessary. They're all appreciated more than I can put into words. Sincerely, humbly, thank you for your previous and continued support. Northern David said, I said Northern David like Obama. Northern David said, look, it's time I got to stop. I got to get out of it. It's time we hear about all the takedowns. I don't need them to be dramatic, but just let everyone know they are arrested. Well, there's movement on Fauci, which is good. Yes, Lake Leon says we do need more Rumble peeps. Everybody sign up on Rumble. Join us on Rumble. We were demonetized, shadow banned, deranked, deboosted, discriminated against on YouTube, and it's stifled our growth. I put so much energy into Facebook and YouTube over the past 15 years. Only recently started doing the show as a standalone podcast even. I thought YouTube and Facebook were the two places where everything was. Look, we're on all the platforms. So, follow us everywhere, please. But yeah, jump on Rumble. Rumble is it's a necessary alternative. to YouTube censorship. But yeah, let me put it up on the screen here. We also have Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. If you want any merch, we have mugs and pins and coasters. Just shoot a donation along with your address, and we will send some stuff out to you. All right. What was I clicking on? Yeah, Dr. Fauci should be in cuffs anytime, I would say. Oh, that's what I was searching for, the captions. There we go. Scrolling at the bottom if you want to toss something into the tip jar. Please consider doing so. All right, let's jump into the news here. On Instagram, everybody, are you following us on Instagram? I don't trust this platform, but, you know, it is a platform, and we can only do what we can do. So I do find a lot of good news there, so I will keep using it. Holden Kulata, not familiar with him, says Thomas Massie just sounded the alarm. Gotta resize the screen again. There we go. Congress is on the verge of handing Monsanto total immunity to mass poison Americans with glyphosate. This is existential for MAGA, Make America Healthy Again. If farmers contract a form of cancer from this chemical, if this makes it into the Farm Bill, you won't be able to sue. Instead of pushing to repeal Big Pharma's vaccine liability shield, Trump and his cronies are trying to expand immunity for even more poison. It's a complete betrayal of MAGA, and it would cause vastly more harm than all of the benefits that MAGA has done combined. This coming from Thomas Massie. It does bother me as well. I can call out things that I dislike about the Trump administration. I'm not going to head to the top of the hill and start waving my hands and freaking out because he posted a joke. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. You want to find that shit? There's plenty of panicans. There's plenty of never Trumpers. There's plenty of, libertarian, fake, right-leaning people that are really just leftists, pot-smoking hippies that don't really understand common sense. Idealistic, yes. Practical? Pragmatic? No. You know, I think that libertarians often take the easy way out, and I've had conversations with many a libertarian about that. Well, you can't vote for the lesser of two evils. You have to throw your vote away because then we can take a deep breath with an air of superiority and say, we did not participate in this badness, this system. We are not to blame. Well, you didn't stop the thing that was going to bite you first, and you got bit. That's all lesser of two evils are. You're lying there wounded at the bottom of a ravine. You were hiking and the ground gave way. You got too close taking a picture of the overlook, and you slid down in a lot of bangs and bruises, maybe a break, and no bueno, bloodied. There are two cougars, hungry, ravenous. It's been dry. They haven't been able to feast on any rabbit this season. They're hungry, and you're there. You're just food. You ever watch those Bugs Bunny cartoons where someone's really hungry and the other person starts looking like a pork chop or a pizza? And like, so off from the top of that hill where you see two cougars, one of them jumps down and starts walking toward you, gets with them, shooting distance, and you have your self-defense tool there. The libertarians are like, well, I'm not going to participate in this. There's a lesser of two evils, and then there's a moster of two evils. Morer of two evils. The thing that's closest to harming you and would have the most dire ramifications if it succeeds, it's okay to vote for the one thing that can overcome that. That'll buy you some time. Yeah, well, that's how we got in this position to begin with. If we were principled, we wouldn't pop. Yeah, well, if my aunt had some junk, she'd be my uncle. You address the approaching cougar, lest ye be destroyed. Thomas Massey, libertarian leaning. A lot of my friends, libertarian leaning. Myself, on many issues, libertarian leaning. But there's a practicality involved of taking out the Democrat Party. They simply must be shattered into 1,000 pieces and cast to the winds. Splintered, shattered, demolished, politically, peacefully, earnestly, honestly, urgently. Then you can tell me about John Cornyn and John Thune and anybody else named John. There's plenty of bad in the Republican Party, but you have got to extract the cancer that is the Democrats. So yeah, I am capable of calling out President Trump when I must. That glyphosate thing is bullshit. Don't do that. Fix that. Don't do that. Undo that. Whatever it is, that's not it. And I will be mad about that. And these are the moments I appreciate Thomas Massey immensely. There's other times when I feel like he gets in the way and does not help stop the Democrat agenda on principle. But such is politics, I suppose. All right, did you see this? Is this a real guy? Michael Glantz, an agent at... Oh, he's a CIA agent. I used to work at the William Morris Agency. One day, several years ago, I don't remember the number, 40, 50%, like almost half of the William Morris crew left and started Creative Artists Agency. And they took their clients with them. It was like a revolt, a coup, a civil war. This guy says, here.
Is in that room. You've got Scott Bessent.
You got this guy at the bottom. Take a look.
In that room. You have Tulsi Gabbard in that room. You, of course, have J.D. Vance in that room, naturally the President of the United States. And as John mentioned, the White House correspondents.
He's just sitting there eating. He's not hiding under a table. He says, we live with sirens and activity happening all the time. Michael Glantz, agent at Creative Artists Agency, said, I wasn't scared. There are hundreds of Secret Service agents hurtling themselves over tables and chairs, and I wanted to watch. First of all, I have a bad back. I couldn't get on the floor. And if I did get on the floor, they'd have to bring in 2 people to get me off the floor. Number 2, I'm a hygiene freak. There was no freaking way I was getting my new tux on the dirty Hilton floor. It was not happening. This dude became a legend.
Dinner is where we are presently broadcasting from. Who's in the rooms?
I thought this might have been AI, but it looks like we got a name and a backstory. He also said he's from New York, so he hears sirens and activity all the time. If you missed that story, now you saw it. Kind of funny. Yeah, he gained legendary status, him and Dana White. All right, well, did you see what Jimmy Kimmel did? I think it's in the stack, but here's Carolyn Levitt's response to Jimmy Kimmel doing some fake State of the White House Correspondents' Dinner joke roast. Really off-color stuff about Melania wishing death on her husband. Jimmy Kimmel is an absolute nutbag. And I don't know why ABC, ESPN, Disney continue to allow him to spew his shit every single night. But they fired Kurt Schilling for posting a meme about a dude in a lady's bathroom. ESPN fired him for that. You know. Because ABC, ESPN, Disney says, yeah, dudes should be creeping on ladies in their bathrooms. They'll fire him for posting a dude in drag. And says, I think the meme was, you took the Major League Baseball All-Star game out of, it was either Charlotte or Atlanta, to move it to Colorado or something because they passed a bill that's going to keep dudes out of ladies' sports. You moved the Major League Baseball All-Star game for that, for this. There's a picture of a dude in like fishnets and stuff, looking like Quiet Riot. Or Motley Crue or Poison from the 80s. Yeah, I don't think people have had all that much of a problem with cross-dressing and kink and what, kind of do your thing. Just, keep it to yourself. It was sort of the don't ask, don't tell thing. Let me get a check on the feed today. Am I steady? Am I solid? Am I glitchy? I just caught a little bit of glitchiness. And this is new. This is never happened until like the last couple of shows. I want to see how it's coming out here. But yeah, huge double standards at ABC, ESPN, Disney. It's the same company, ABC, ESPN, Disney. And Carolyn Levitt, she's calling out Jimmy Kimmel.
Political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend. When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily.
Yeah, like something straight out of Hakeem Jeffries' mouth, something straight out of Ilhan Omar or the Squad's mouth, something straight out of ABC, ESPN, Disney's Jimmy Kimmel's mouth.
From so many. For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just 2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night. As President Trump said on Saturday night at this podium, we as Americans must recommit ourselves to resolving our differences peacefully and uniting around the shared values that make our country great. The deranged lies and smears against the president, his family, his supporters have led crazy people to believe crazy things, and they are inspired to commit violence because of those words.
And the politicians are the ones pushing it. The people in their legacy media, their lying legacy media, keep pushing it relentlessly, nonstop. I don't want people in positions of power to fight the other party. I want you to just solve problems. Oh, we're going to take him down. Oh, we're going to do everything we can to stifle the agenda. Just fix the shit. Build the roads, do the things. Create jobs. Just do that. Just do the work. I don't want my HOA fighting all the time. Just repair the roof, paint the building, sign up the security patrol, get the landscapers to make sure the place looks great. I think I am noticing a bit of a lag. I don't want my HOA on the playback fighting all the time. Just repair the roof. Paint the building. If I move, it's a little slow. Get the landscapers to make sure the place looks great. I'm watching the playback here. As I start moving. I am noticing a bit of a lag. I don't want my on the playback all the time. Just repair the roof, paint the building. If I move, it's sort of like if I move, it goes weird. I'm watching the playback here. As I start moving. I am noticing a bit of a lag. Yeah, I don't need to see constant fighting. Yes, it lags. Well, why is it lagging? I don't know what has changed. I don't think I've changed anything with it. Anyway, I'll have to take a look. But this whole concept, we got to stand, we got to fight Trump. Did you watch the California governor race? The California governor race was just, I'm going to fight Trump. Someone told the Democrats, you got to say that. Shut the fuck up and just work. Do the things. Do the job. Fix the things. I don't need you to stand up and fight Trump. Fuck you. Fix what needs fixed. Do the work that needs done. And that's all the Democrats have to offer is their fake racist bullshit, nonstop, wedged, shoehorned into every story, anything divisive. And they're not doing the important stuff. The Save America Act is very important to make sure that legitimate votes are counted. Every illegitimate vote cancels out legitimate votes, which in effect is stealing your democracy. Stupid catchphrase. What's up, Bill? Says whoever they are, don't want to fix anything at all. They all need to be removed and investigated for fraud and treason. 95% of Congress is totally corrupt and not representing the American citizens. Ding, 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 ding. Gold star for Bill's hobby stuff. Bill, welcome. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, please. Share the show with your friends. Thank you for tagging the story. Botanical. I'll take a look at that later. But it is just nonstop at the Democrat Party. They don't have anything to offer. Not an endorsement of the Republican Party, but my God, the lesser of two evils. Stop the Democrats from acting like absolute children. Oh my God, I can't believe you said acting like children. Don't you know that you support a president that's just out there tweeting and like, I'm going to blow up your country and like, it'll be catastrophic. It'll be civilization ending. And then like, I'm glad Robert Mueller is dead. And I'm going to post a picture of myself as Jesus. And that's the most childish stuff ever. And you got to impeach him for all of that. No, I don't. And I don't need to be worried about stuff like that. No, I don't need to prioritize that. And it's not going to consume my every waking moment. It's just not. There's big picture things. Democrats get almost all of those wrong. So while this is not an endorsement of the Republican Party, my God, people, in these midterms, you've got to vote every Democrat into retirement. And disconnect from ABC, Disney, ESPN. Disconnect from the lying legacy media. If you haven't already, if you're following the new American media, hit like, hit subscribe. Everybody hit the thumbs up button real quick. Sometimes I forget to do that on shows, but it's a good thing to remember. It helps the algorithm. As if it's not all rigged against me anyway, but I'm trying. David says, nothing is getting done that should be done in Congress or the Senate. Yeah, or in the House or the Senate, right. John Thune's got to go, and I don't know what's taking so long. I think one of your earlier comments, David, from Ontario, Canada, Buffalo Bills fan, I think you were saying another day, no indictments, but there is something about Fauci we're going to get to. Anyway, back to Carolyn Levitt.
It has to stop. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat.
I think it reset there. I wish there was a way to tell when an Instagram video repeated so I could move along from it. Oh, maybe I didn't hear all that. Anyway, you get the gist of it. Keith Woods. Don't know who Keith Woods is. Who's Keith Woods? No, I don't want to report. Stop. Posted this. It says Mark Potok of the SPLC kept charts in his office tracking the progress, they call it progress, of replacing white people in Europe and America. These are sick people. SPLC's Mark Potok office tracking decline of white population and percent change of foreign-born in Europe in a year, tracks quarterly profits. Yeah, we've shared similar lists. Like a CEO tracks quarterly profits. Yeah, we've reported on that. On the wall of SPLC's Potok's home office tracking the invasion of Europe by foreigners. And then show this quote from an article he wrote for the SPLC website. White dominance is on the this is a white guy, allegedly, right? White dominance is on the decline as the demographic white majority heads for oblivion over the course of the next 30 years. Talking about Klansmen. Question of the day. Have you ever met a Klansman? I've never met a leprechaun, a unicorn, or a dinosaur, nor a Klansman. Heard about it for half a century. Give me a break. He goes, Klansmen are not openly lynching black people. Yeah, and the Democrats pass a law against lynching. Huh? pass a law against leprechauns stealing your gold. Oh, while you're at it, go ahead and pass a law against unicorns eating your Lucky Charms. Klansmen are not openly lynching black people, and police departments and other institutions of the state are not shot through as they once were with white supremacists bent on naked oppression. This is word salad, classic division, misinformation, disinformation, hogwash. David. Nope, David's never met a Klansman. Tell me if you have. I mean, I'd be curious to hear that story, but the left just, Trump's a king, he's trying to be a king, and he's trying to steal your democracy, and racist. And oh, I got a good clip about that. If you speak out about the evil treatment of humans by the political Islamification of anywhere, you're called an Islamophobe. If you there's a pejorative for every type of thing. But then this guy goes, well, if I'm European and someone speaks out against me, what's that term? If there's not a term for that, then there shouldn't be a term for the other thing. Like, why is one allowed and encouraged and then the other's not? I think that's on my X feed, so I'll get to it.
Reading this.
So what is the update on the person? The California teacher brainwashed with the leftist lies to go commit some acts of violence. This is not the first, and God, I hope it is the last, but I'm not holding my breath here. They're like angry toddlers throwing fits and getting violent when they don't get their way in preschool. Federal prosecutors file new charges against the attempted massacre at the Correspondents' Dinner.
This from our colleague in the courtroom, Jake Gibson. Cole Allen is facing 3 counts. Count 1, attempt to assassinate the President of the United States, up to life in prison. I'm just reading this on my phone in real time. Transporting a firearm across state lines, 10 years and $250,000 fine. And the 3rd count is discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, a mandatory minimum of 10 years. So the first is attempt to assassinate the President of the United States, up to life in prison. Then the second 2, transporting a firearm across state lines. And number 3, and the final, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence. Reading this from our...
He did. I want to get a little bit more specifics. He did shoot somebody. He used a shotgun to hit a Secret Service agent. I thought it was a handgun. I guess it was maybe a shotgun, and it hit him, but it hit him in the bulletproof vest. Thankfully, none of it got up to his face. I mean, thank God. Democrats are causing so much brain damage across this country and across this world. I'm going to hold out some faith that we can recalibrate this shit because I'm so sick of it. Out of the New York Post, Florida pastor who wrote a book on how to love your spouse has been arrested over allegations that he has multiple wives. How to love your spouses. Plural, I suppose. Here's more video of the guy. She's crying. He's consoling, and dude is just cool as a cucumber. Eating his dinner. It almost looks AI, doesn't it? Because why would the food go away from his mouth and then come back? AI detected, says Coppola Films. Is there a spoon? Is there a fork? Like, why would he do that dip? He doesn't dip into anything. I don't know. Something about this story. Help me understand, folks in chat. Is this a real story? Who is Creamy Posh? I don't know who that is. Not following. I don't know. I have questions about that story. All right. He's being called a legend. But that's AI. Why would you bring the fork down to do that? I don't know.
Believe
All right, President Trump speaking. Believe me.
me, because, you know, it's my life. And I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone.
Wish death upon me. It's a good song for that. But yeah, the Trump derangement syndrome is, I'm over it. I'm exhausted by it. I'm done with it. I'm angry at the AI. You know, you're saying likely on AI, a fork appears. Yeah, it is something strange about that story. But that previous post, like, gives you a name, gives you a job, gives you a backstory. Jury's still out. My spidey senses tell me from that video something's off. Help me confirm or debunk that, please. I never want to deliver you news, information, or videos that I know to be intentionally false without pointing it out. Yeah, well, you shared it without context. And so what? Well, you shared it. That, don't you understand? A retweet does not equal an endorsement in the history of humanity. Okay. All right, here's a nice meme. Does anyone know what this meme is from? Who this girl is and what this is? I don't know what this is from. Let's ask Grok. Origin of this meme. Who is the girl? Is this from a movie or TV show? I'm going to put the link in. Let's see if Grok can figure it out. Side-eyeing Chloe? No, that's not it. Think harder. I think Grok is broken. You can't trust AI with everything. You can't trust Grok, artificial. Side-eyeing Chloe. Huh? Show the original. Then. Original video? This can't be right. No, this is absolutely wrong, and Grok is... Holy shit, is it hallucinating? You are hallucinating. I'm not hallucinating. Here's the proof. Wow. Really doubles down when it's wrong. Anyway, I'm going to type in the comments. Can someone tell me what this meme girl with the Ahoy hat is from? Who, let's ask Grok specifically. Who is the meme girl holding the sign with the Ahoy hat? Maybe it can tell me that. Stranger Things? Scoops Ahoy ice cream shop in the Starcourt Mall? Holding up a whiteboard tally of how many times Stephen Harrington failed to flirt with girls. You suck on one side, tally marks on the other. Robin holding a whiteboard meme. That was from 2019? Stranger Things, Robin Buckley? Okay. We figured it out. She does look like she'd be on a Little Debbie commercial. Exactly. All right, so it's 2019. Stranger Things. David says, at this point, Trump derangement syndrome is just crazy mental people who can't control their emotions. You know, I'm not going to dispute that. Anyway, this meme is here sharing that sandwich board with a slightly different image. Celebrating political assassinations and assassination attempts means you're literally the fascist. So to the side that won't shut the fuck up calling everything that they dislike fascist, things that they shouldn't even dislike, they're just being told by their manipulators to repeat this garbage. Okay, I guess I dislike this now. On yesterday's program, I talked about how if Trump really wanted to get the ballroom approved, just come out and go, a lot of people say I should build a ballroom. I don't get it. I don't want it. Not good, expensive. I wholeheartedly disavow, like the Nazis, completely disavow this ballroom. Don't want it. Don't need it. I'm against it. All right, next question. Yeah, you know what would happen then? Approved. We need a ballroom. We need a ballroom. Ballrooms matter. Ballrooms matter. Would have been interesting to see. But yeah, hey, left, if you're celebrating political assassinations and assassination attempts, you are literally the fascist. You got it? Good. Democrats have given America an ultimatum. Either vote for them or destroy America. Either vote for them to destroy America or they'll destroy America. So please, 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 please. Focus on point one, destroying the Democrat Party. Step two, please destroy the RINOs. RINOs are just like more Democrats. I don't like them in the Republican Party either. Get some more libertarians, some more constitutionalists, root out the RINOs, destroy the Democrat Party. Like there's a triage. You got to twist the tourniquet so you don't bleed out from the leg wound first. Then you can address setting your broken arm. Like it's a process. And the Democrats are unfit to govern. Oh, we're having trouble playing this video. They're not going to play this video? Oh, shit, that's weird. I'll put that in the comments. Look at this. Instagram is censoring the Trump video where he talks about harsh penalties on Iran from about 1980. Why don't they want us to see and remember Trump being consistent about destroying the Islamic supremacist terrorist regime of Iran? Huh. Let's see if I can play the whole thing from this other side then. Well, how do I turn the volume up on?
This country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror.
You're advocating that
A horror. There's too much music in this.
we should have gone in there with troops.
Brought our boys out. I absolutely feel that, yes, I don't think there's any question. No question in my mind. I think right now we'd be an oil-rich nation. I think this country is responsible for that war by its own weakness. If we were respected, properly respected as a country and as a people and as a nation, I don't think that you would have had the war going on right now between Iran and Iraq. Would you like to be president of the United States? I really don't believe I would. It's a very mean life. And I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. I have strong views, and with the kind of views like that, maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but unpopular. They were censoring that, and there was too much music in it, but I couldn't play it. But Trump has been very consistent on Iran. So if your answer to everything is the thanks Obama skit, Jenna Marbles, oh, my cereal got soggy, thanks Obama. You mean the U.S. participated in a military operation? Thanks the Jews. They control everything. I mean, there's some legitimate gripes within that complaint, but my God, when it's, oh, the weather's it's too rainy. Those must be Jewish space lasers. There's inflation in this country. Don't blame Congress. It's the Jews. They run the banks. Okay. World War II, that was the Jews. World War I, that was the Jews. Well, who killed Christ? The Romans. I don't know. It just gets tiresome. the talking point of the left right now and some of the panicins or fake MAGA supporters, the fair weather fans, they say Bibi's the only reason that we did anything in Iran. It's like Trump's hated Iran since they were fucking around taking our people hostage back during Jimmy Carter's weakness, the malaise, the great malaise, as you recall from the late 70s, that gave rise to 2 years of Reagan, 2 terms of Reagan. But they'll just say, nope. If we did something, it's because of the Jews, because of Benjamin Netanyahu. You go. He's been fairly consistent on this issue, but okay. I'm in another group and I'm talking to some of my friends. And they say, I just miss MAGA when it was America first. Now it's Israel first. Fucking hell. You go, okay. Is it theoretically possible that the actions in Iran were Israel also? Or no, you can't do anything unless it's Israel first. You have to put that slur out there. Okay. Now, let me be crystal clear. I don't want to hear the term anti-Semitism. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the term racist, racism, Islamophobic, transphobic. I'm done with all of these slurs. I'm done. They've been so overused to gain political power and control, money, influence, to shut up their opponent, to silence and shame, berate, degrade, and put a target on your opponent. Fuck you. To all of you with all of your slurs. I'm done with all of the slurs. We can criticize, critique, challenge, oppose, disagree with everything without a slur. Name of this program used to be called the Agree to Disagree Show. Now we call it that when we do one-on-one interviews. We call it the TNAM Daily Show now because, daily, Monday through Friday, we're going to talk about what's happening in the news, but we need to be able to agree to disagree on stuff. Well, that's hate speech. Shut the fuck up with hate speech. What are you talking about? Show me on the doll where the hate speech hurt you. The First Amendment protects hateful speech. Otherwise, I could claim to be harmed. What you're saying is hateful, in my opinion, so shut the fuck up, or I'm going to call the police and they're going to throw you in a cage. Fuck you. So this is not to say, hey, be a lapdog for Netanyahu, be a lapdog for Israel. Hey, go out there and yell anti-Semitism all day. Nope. I'm not yelling Islamophobic, racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic. Take all of your slurs, all of your categories, flush them down the toilet. Everything can be challenged. That's called overplaying your hand. And that whole push to silence people out of conversation, you want to rankle my feathers and make sure that I oppose whatever you're talking about, try pulling that stuff. I don't feel very good about any of that stuff. It's most of it feels like a grift to me. Most of it. Anyway, this is being, I don't know who these people are. This is being reported. I don't know who Shred News is either. I'm going to run. It almost looks like a green screen. I don't know if this is real. It's not telling me these people's names. I'm going to ask if this is AI. But this is being reported as Fox reporters caught on hot mic at the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Washington Hilton. Take a look while I do some deeper research.
I love that they have like 2 random chicks holding the front door open. We're not even trying anymore. It's not even like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. It's like the girls who work here are holding the door. Even if it was the guys, it wouldn't even make it better. It's like
this is real video, not AI, according to Grok. Fox 5 reporters, including host Jimmy Fallon. Okay. Who is Jimmy Fallon? Is that a comic that I saw? He's a comic, right? Not super familiar with this guy. But he's a comic, and they're saying this is real video. Yeah, I've seen him on, because on Gutfeld I saw Dave Landau and a couple other comics somewhat recently. I don't know if he was on stage for that. I don't think so.
It's just like they might as well put a doorstop in. Like, they put up a doorstop and a scarecrow.
A doorstop and a scarecrow would be more effective than the Secret Service protection they're providing.
Don't fuck with this guy.
I mean, a doorstop and a scarecrow. So it's been a couple days. Was the event real or was it staged? Tell me in the comments. Do you agree that this event was a lunatic teacher from California who went across the country and had his manifesto and he had his plan and he pulled the trigger and he was just trying to cause harm to people? Or was it staged? So do you agree that this was a real attack, or do you disagree? Tell us in the comments. By the way, hit like, hit subscribe, put the thumbs up, share button. Remember, you can drop a Rumble rant or a super chat if you're enjoying the program. We are 100% crowd-funded, and your support is crucial and needed and appreciated and all that jazz. All right. A doorstop and a scarecrow. You want to hear about just how bad the political violence is in America? No, it's not a both sides issue. Yeah, I mean, there will be a small handful of people allegedly coming from, air quote, the right, but it is a Democrat tactic, a Democrat trait. Nick Shirley's telling his story.
Today is a crazy day because today is the day where I'm supposed to die. Now, hear me out. So after I exposed widespread fraud here in America, I started to get messages like these, and these are literally death threats. So this one says, this is going to be you on April 27th, 2026 in a muddy ditch alongside the highway with your mother. Enjoy your last couple of months, buddy. Now, I don't share this with you guys to scare you, but more so show you just how crazy a subset of people here in America have become, where they have literally become radicalized. And I'm going to show you guys some other messages as well. This one says, you should kill yourself, genuinely. Charlie Kirk needs a sequel. In Minnesota, they had these on street poles saying, if you see this man, tell him to kill himself. Had a nightmare last night. You got engaged and it wasn't me. Hope all is well. Oh, didn't mean to put that one in there. Nick Shirley is a Nazi. Hopefully they end you next. So that's enough of that. But that just goes to show how crazy this subset of people in America have become. And now just think about it. If 1% of America were to be radicalized, that means 3.3 million people are radicalized. Now let's just say 0.5%. That is 1.5 million. Now let's just say 0.1% of America becomes radicalized. That is 300,000 people. That's a large-scale army. And so when you have a large portion of society who actually do believe that people do need to die and listen to people who say these sort of things openly in the public.
Kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods.
I think it is fair to say that.
This is who they are, these cultural Marxists, these radical Marxists.
We do have a problem here in America of people becoming radicalized. They've now tried to kill President Trump 4 times, and the rhetoric continues to get worse and worse. This is a direct result of people being called Nazis and fascists who are not Nazis and fascists. It's been happening for years now, and now people are actually acting upon what they actually have been told to believe. Now, to end this all off, I want to finish it with this quote from Mark Twain. It says, "The truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie." And at the end of the day, let's say 99% of America are truth seekers and they're going after the truth. But you have 1% who are complete fools, who even if you gave them the truth, they wouldn't even believe it. That's how crazy of a society we are living in today. Don't be a fool, be a truth seeker. And yeah, I hope that adds some perspective to your life. Today is a crazy day because...
All right. That's the left, and that's what they're pushing. You get in their faces at the gasoline stations. Democrats have always been the party of political terrorism. So here's a photo from last night in black and white. Hegseth and Stephen Miller and Marco Rubio and not Bovino. Who's the new Blanche? Todd Blanche. There's Mark Wayne Mullen. There's JD in the far, far, far back. Some faces I'm not entirely certain, but you know, this could have all played out differently, and we can't gloss this over. New York Post reporting, here's smuggled video from inside an infamous Iranian prison capturing the moment that 6 dissidents break into song to defy the Islamic regime one last time before they are hanged. Got to mute it because YouTube would probably say that's a copyright claim. That's how stupid the world is now. Oh, they were all executed for their alleged actions against the regime, seen standing in a courtyard at the notorious Gezel Hesar prison as they made their final stand with the Song of Resistance. Well, will the IRGC be removed and dismantled? Your rival stands before you now, hardened in the flame. I am the faith, I am revolt. With belief I take my stand. I've sworn an oath upon my blood. The tyrant's throne shall shatter. The men calmly sung. You know, if you're sick of the left calling you a Nazi, remember how Charlie Kirk would handle it. Charlie Kirk was uniquely qualified and capable and equipped to handle such things as he does in this clip. Born in 1993, he was. Who's he talking to here? No, anyway.
You think I'm a Nazi?
Most definitely. I mean, at this point, like you.
Do you think I'm a Nazi? Oh yeah, most definitely at this point. Okay.
Made it pretty clear.
Why am I a Nazi?
You ask me questions about cultural Marxism. That's literally like so. In case you don't know,
let me ask you,
cultural Marxism.
Who's Antonio Gramsci?
You bring up cultural Marxism, so he calls you a Nazi? No. We're pointing out your tactics of what you're doing with cultural Marxism and how it's infected everything.
Antonio Gramsci.
Who is he?
Why are you bringing Gramsci into this?
No, but just tell me who he is.
The Italian socialist.
Yeah. So what phrase did he coin?
I don't know. You tell me.
Cultural Marxism.
Italian socialist.
Okay.
Was he a Nazi?
Okay. No, Antonio.
Oh, so maybe it didn't come from the Nazis. What did he write about cultural Marxism?
I don't know.
Letters
I'm not
from prison.
familiar with all of his.
Yeah, you're not
writings.
familiar because you just keep on spouting out these things that call people Nazis, which is super unhelpful. And
super unhelpful. And there might actually be ramifications when you tell crazy people that there are literal Nazis behind every blade of grass. You're making people mentally ill with your fucking lies. Stop it, the left.
not true. What is cultural Marxism? Cultural Marxism is developing a cultural framework of deconstructionism or postmodernism to try to break ourselves from the shackles of the Western tradition.
Break ourselves from the shackles of Western tradition.
So that we can embrace the nonsensical economic ideas that you believe in.
The warmth of collectivism. Isn't that what Mamdani called it?
That's not a conspiracy theory, it's reality. And it was written by Gramsci himself. And if you're not familiar with those writings, well, then you're not really equipped to talk about cultural Marxism. You just keep on like, conspiracy theory. Like, yeah, actually, you're wrong. Like, go to the roots.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Is that your response?
Sure.
Oh, you think?
It did not come off well. Unequipped to handle that debate, for sure. Like so many of them are. Ask one follow-up question and watch him melt. Who's this guy? Cody Michael Harris, not following him yet, but let's see what this post is. This is a wild statement. And I want to know if you agree with this guy or disagree with this guy. So get your keyboard ready and get ready to type with us. Hello, American Princess. Thanks for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe on the show. Follow us on our Spotify podcast, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your fine podcasts. And subscribe on YouTube and Rumble too. American Princess, we already have a surveillance state. I know. But it's getting worse. Anyway, listen to this guy and tell me if you agree with this guy or disagree with this guy. This one sort of made me stop and think.
Most racist man you know would still save a brown man from a burning building.
the most racist man you know would still save a brown man from a burning building. By the way, racism is not white against everyone else. So the way that's framed is, the people that try to tell you only white people can be racist are racist. So don't use their terms in their vernacular. But I get what he's saying. As a white person, his claim is that the most racist person would still save a brown person from a burning building.
The least racist woman you know would laugh at your funeral just because you voted wrong.
The least racist woman you know would still laugh at your funeral if you voted wrong.
And that's the truth. The most.
I'll give him a follow for that. Do you agree or disagree with what that dude just said? The most racist person you know would still save a brown person from a burning building, whereas the least racist woman you know would laugh at your funeral if you voted the wrong way. Do you agree or disagree with that statement? American Princess jumping in saying, I don't think people should be allowed to use humans or vehicles as directed energy weapons on our public thoroughways. Yeah, you're jumping in on the main topic of today's show, the surveillance grid of your vehicle 2027. All vehicles are going to be spy devices. You can't have a single moment of peace. Fuck you. Sorry, not you, American Princess. I mean, the people who are trying to surveil every moment of my life. It's a great American thing to get in a car and just go. To just go. And do and be free and be left alone. But the powers that be don't want that. They think we're cattle. Anyway, that was a wild concept there. It's got me sort of thinking, how would a burning building be handled? I had never pondered that question. It's got me thinking. All right, let's switch over to our X feed. We're at American_media_. Make sure that you're following us. Pinned at the top is our conversation with Mr. John B. Wells. This will take you to our Patreon page where you can sign up to be a monthly sponsor. We need your support. That's how we get by, since YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, Meta, they have done everything they could imagine to try to ruin the new American media. But we subsist. Also, if you want a mug, shoot me a Venmo at Brian Engelman. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. $40 for a mug, $30 for a set of 4 wooden Ohio-made coasters for my sports show. They come in Ohio-shaped or circle-shaped. 1 for $30. There's 4 in here. Or 2 packs for $50, shipping included. And if you want a pin, they're $25. Shoot me a Venmo with your address, and I'll get these mailed out. But yeah, if you want to see more of something, support it. And if you want to see less of something, don't support it. So ABC, ESPN, Disney, Jimmy Kimmel, disconnect. If you like the new American media, support us. It's that simple. American Princess, but they're already monitoring everything we do with our cell phones. You are correct. We need a Faraday bag. I got one, but I got one that's a little too small. I got to get a bigger one. You put it in the bag, zip, gone off the grid. Everybody should have these. Just as much as you want to have access to a phone in case of XYZ, you might also want to disconnect and just be left alone for a myriad of reasons. Get yourself a Faraday bag. I should make them a sponsor. I should go get some sponsors. I'm writing it down. Faraday bag sponsors. All about preparedness. And I'm about to launch the Build Your Own Bug Out Bag business. Probably available on Whatnot. We have a Whatnot channel. Check it out. It's called Picking Winners Resale. All sorts of collectible stuff. All sorts of things. It's basically a nonstop garage sale. And we're going to do build your own bug out bags. We're going to get you like potassium iodide tablets, and you can kind of build it based on what you want. Get yourself a dedicated backpack, maybe some brand new binoculars, maybe water filtration device, maybe a USB canister holder, to protect it against smashing or breaking. You double bag them or double plastic container them so that they'll survive. Like, you just got to think, like, if you have 2 minutes to grab a bug out bag and go, if you can just fill one bag with like your pet medications, your medications, an external a battery pack or something, a solar device, like, just keep something in your car, keep something in your trunk, keep something in your basement, keep something in your closet. I'm excited to launch that business. Follow Picking Winners Resale on Whatnot. We're going to be doing all sorts of things. American Princess, I love the coasters and the mug. I can't wait to get a real job so I can send you all my money. Preach on, sister. Preach on, princess. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, they are cool. I mean, I love the pins. I think they're super neat. I love the coasters. I think my merch is rad. John's got some. Kenneth is still moving, so he's one of our many regulars, has not been here for a while, but Kenneth has a mug. He's got the coasters. John has a mug and John created the coasters. In fact, the mug rather. John says, if you're going to go on Rumble, he's going to pay half for this. So it'd be $20. Essentially, it'd be $10 for the mug and then $10 for shipping if you come in off of Rumble. If you're a new Rumble user for the New American Media. Thank you for that, John. John makes great honey, by the way, at his apiary. We should all be making more food. I spent a lot of yesterday working in the yard, getting caught. It was lawn mowing day, but then it was also transplanting day, gardening day, weeding day. I had a lot of just tasks that had to occur. Not my favorite thing in the world to do, but it is what it is. It is sort of my favorite thing to do. It's just I have so many other things to do. It's like I almost feel guilty when I spend an hour. But like, here's the thing. A neighbor came down and brought me some tomato plants. Cool. Super cool. I got to get those in the ground now. I got the potatoes in. Potatoes are in. That's great. I have so many seeds and I don't have any of them planted. I'm already almost in May. Woo! Am I behind? Get your gardens together. Grow your food. Get an apiary and collect your honey. We all need to be and if you make 1,000 things of honey, go trade the guy that has the tomatoes. Go trade the guy that has the eggplants. Go trade the guy with the corn. Go trade the girl. And wigs. If you want to do yourself a favor, type in Norm Macdonald wigs. It's a conversation he has with Jerry Seinfeld where he does a great Richard Nixon impression. So if you're listening to me talk, some of you, if you don't watch enough, you might think that I just have little Robin Williams. He does so many voices. If I watched him for 5 minutes, I could jump into a Robin Williams. I just got to remember. Oh. He just bounces from joke to joke to joke and voice to voice and character to character. And wigs. It's a great line that cracks Jerry Seinfeld up with. So check that one out. Marion says, I learned about making gin from vodka infused with juniper berries to maybe help with my cedar allergies. Do juniper berries help or does gin help? Or you just get so drunk you don't care about being allergic to stuff? Yeah, juniper berries. I didn't realize gin was just like fruited up vodka. So there you have it. All right, let's get back to the show. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's go through the news. United Arab Emirates announces it'll withdraw from OPEC after more than 50 years. Oh, look at that. More than 50 years. Iran has been a totalitarian Islamic supremacist nation for 47 of them. The move will take place May 1st. The decision would allow United Arab Emirates to boost oil production without OPEC quota limits. Oh, you mean they artificially suppress the price to artificially suppress the supply to drive up the price? Wow. Sounds like a central bank. It's like the inverse of a central bank. digitizing, quantitizing, monetizing, going to the Xerox machine and devaluing all your money through rampant, reckless, unaccountable spending in a fractional reserve currency-based system where you loan out, what, 40 times what you have? It's all a house of cards. This move from the UAE is being viewed by some as a potential win for President Trump, who has repeatedly accused OPEC of inflating prices and ripping off the rest of the world. And wokeness says UAE leaving OPEC is a very big deal. OPEC produces 40% of the oil supply in the world. As a cartel, they dictate production, meaning oil prices. UAE is number 3 largest in OPEC, and they have the Fujairah pipeline, which totally bypasses Hormuz. Take a look at the map here. I'll do it in a second. By exiting OPEC, the UAE breaks the cartel that is keeping oil prices high, unlocking 1 million extra barrels of oil. So here's the Strait of Hormuz, and this little dog leg here, the Strait of Hormuz. Iran. But if this is the island and everything, this is the choke point, they just take it and they pump it into their oil fields and they bypass the Strait of Hormuz. You don't even need it. But then again, why can't you just take it to Abu Dhabi and go this way? I don't know. But Fujairah could alleviate some of these problems. Okay. Fingers crossed. Hey, look, there's us. There's our live show. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Hit like, hit subscribe. All right. Here is Britt Hume discussing redistricting because it's a big deal now. And you saw what happened in Virginia. They rammed something through, but now it's on hold. It's been halted in the courts. They're saying, what do you? No. Meanwhile, Florida and Texas are doing that. You know why? Not just to rig this one election, because, it's an existential crisis. Trump's trying to steal our democracy. All right, dirtbags. It's because millions of extra people moved to these places. These deep blue cities, blue states, they lost population because nobody likes them. They don't govern properly. They will never stop taxing. They find violent, crazy nutbags, and they don't throw them in a cage for life. So they abuse 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, 7 people, 8 people, 9 people, 10 people, go on and on, when they could have just done it once and go, you're done. Nobody wants to live around crazy, violent people. Democrats encourage it for some reason. And they tax. Give me more. How about no? Until you can prove that you're not going to waste what you're already given, cut your stupid spending. Don't take more. I don't want to give you more. I want the basics done. The rest of it, stay out of my life. Americans voted with their feet and they left the big blue cities, the blue states. Florida and Texas received a lot of population, so they need to redistrict so that they can apply that to getting more representatives in Congress. That one makes sense. Virginia is just, well, we need to try to harm Trump in this midterm, so let's just ram this thing through. That Spanberger CIA clown. That's the Democrat plan for America. You want to turn America into Virginia? Vote for a Democrat. You want to stop it? Vote against Democrats. Anyway. Redistricting, Britt Hume.
Voters are supposed to choose the party they want to vote for. The parties are not supposed to choose the voters. When you redistrict like this, in a situation where you gerrymander like mad, and this Virginia map is gerrymandered to it fairly well, that's what effectively you're doing. You're just setting it up in such a way that you're sure that you can win by the way you draw the districts, and so that's what's happening here. It is absolutely hardball politics, Brett, to be sure. Both parties are doing it. In Virginia's case is particularly egregious since it had set up a bipartisan commission to take it out of the hands of the politicians. And for this election, they want to put it back in their hands.
Yeah, both parties are at it, as you mentioned. Britt, as always, thank you.
Voters are
Britt and Brett. Right? What's that guy's name? Brett Baer. Right? Yeah. Britt and Brett. Wow. Brick and Breck. Mark Meadows. Who's Mark Meadows? Former White House Chief of Staff for President Trump and former congressman in North Carolina. Mark Meadows says it is time to redistrict Florida. Florida. Where did my show go? There it is. It's time to redistrict Florida. Over 2 million Americans have moved to the Sunshine State since 2020. In the completely free and fair election of Joe Biden. 81 million totally legitimate votes. Wink, wink. If anybody wants a half-price mug, Patriot Warrior says, come and say hi on Rumble and you'll get it for half price. It's $40. He will match you 20 of it. He wants these mugs in your hands. He's trying to basically give them away after designing and creating them. John, a founding member of our TNAM meme team. We appreciate you, John. So the old congressional maps no longer reflect the state of Florida. They got 2 million new Americans moving there, away from California, New York, and the other crazy places. Governor DeSantis supports this effort and has convened a special session. Now, Speaker Perez and the legislature need to get it over the finish line. We were reporting on this a couple days ago. Congressional map didn't add those 2 million people. Their map is drawn for a state that doesn't exist. Special session starts today. DeSantis already moved on redistricting. Now it's on Speaker Speaker Perez and the legislature to finish it. They have the mandate. They have the authority. A redraw could mean up to +5 Republican seats. Fix the map. Who's Joshua Hall? Patriot and a freed political prisoner. This story's trending. I got to show you this after. I forgot about it. It wasn't in my stack. I'll place this under fan fiction at the moment, although, I mean, the calls could not be coming any louder than they are for Speaker Thune to get removed. Joshua Hall says, so this is fan fiction, but fingers crossed. President Trump and Senate allies are organizing an effort to replace John Thune as the majority leader. President Trump reportedly in close communication with MAGA allies in the U.S. Senate, including Republican Senators Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, Ted Cruz of Texas, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, and Rick Scott of Florida. Among others, putting together a plan to oust Trump-hating RINO John Thune as Republican Majority Leader and replace him with an America First ally of President Trump and the MAGA movement. This comes as President Trump and these senators who support him have reportedly grown fed up with Thune's efforts at obstructing the Trump administration and blocking President Trump's agenda, as well as his secret late-night meetings with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Are you kidding me? Senate Democrats and anti-Trump Republicans to begin planning the impeachment of Trump and gathering the necessary votes to remove him from office in the event that the Democrats take back the House in November midterms. Are you serious? Fan fiction, I will put this as. There's also growing concern among MAGA Republicans in the Senate without Thune's alleged deep financial ties to communist China. What do you think? Do you support President Trump and these Senate Republicans attempting to remove and replace this China-owned McConnell minion as majority leader? Wow. Stay tuned, but I'm done with Thune. All right, this is breaking. Oh, boy.
Former top advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci now facing criminal charges.
Criminal charges. Top advisor to Fauci.
This over an alleged cover-up involving research into the origins of COVID.
Alleged? This is all known. We've been yelling this stuff for years. Northern David, it's another day where the indictments. This is a big indictment. SPLC is a big indictment. I know. On day one, I wanted Obama and Hillary and Biden and Harris and Mayorkas. Treason. Put them all on trial. You don't need to even build your case. It's been built. It's right. Item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, item 6. I'm not making this up. This isn't retaliation. It's not retribution. It's justice. There is no nation if there's no justice. This could be the domino that takes down Fauci. You get this guy singing. By the way, put him in witness protection program now. I'll get him to flip and tell the truth about how they lied about the origin of COVID so that Fauci could cover his ass. So that the deep state could cover China's ass. So that the deep state could rig the 2020 election, according to some. You know, you need to go to CISA.gov/rumor control. Go get your countervailing views. They'll tell you 2020 was the only free and fair election in the history of elections. You know, quadrillions of Dropbox ballots, totally legitimate, definitely watermarked and identified, not Xeroxed or copied, and no fake code anywhere, and none of these ballot machines were online when they weren't supposed to be, and no fake flooding in Atlanta, and no super late day after day after day. We need a few more minutes to tally all the votes. We're just going to count them until we have enough. CISA.gov/rumor control will tell you the opposite. YouTube would take my videos down if I didn't say that to you. So go to CISA.gov/rumor control for countervailing views. But the 2020 mess, the COVID mess, the Fauci mess, man, Fauci was right in the middle.
Edson on this story. Intriguing, Rich. What you find out there in Washington?
Fauci, probably one of the kingpin leaders. I blame the medical malpractice of the healthcare industry after what Obama pushed to seize control of all the medical industries. And then when Joe Biden came in, took monoclonal antibodies away as a potential therapeutic option, demonized hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin as potentially therapeutic options that could have helped people from COVID. Yeah, I had to bury half of my family, my mom at the beginning of COVID and my brother at the end of it, due to the medical malpractice and the bullshit they were doing in the hospitals and the treatments that they were declining, refusing. Oh, but they were definitely mandating the drug that they call, I'm sorry, Lindsey Graham here. Did you just say mandate? Where can I get one of them mandates? Lindsey, shut up. Shut up, Lindsey. Not now. We'll go to the bathhouse later. I keep telling you. Well, all right. Shiver me timbers. Oh yeah. I blame medical malpractice. Remdesivir, the nurses called it run, death is near. Look into it. They mandated that you take this poison, allegedly, according to some, not me. I'm just reporting what other people said. But they withheld monoclonal antibodies, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, the Merrick protocols, vitamin C drip, all the things that might have been able to save my brother's life. Instead, no, remdesivir, no, shove a ventilation tube down his throat and blow out his lungs. Awesome. So yeah, I got a vested interest in seeing that Fauci is held fucking accountable.
Now, it is, Bill. The Justice Department has charged David Morins, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morins, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the House's COVID Select Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021, claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear.
He's disappearing information to cover up the role that the NIH and Fauci and everybody had in doing these Frankenviruses. Interesting. Responding to a comment about Fauci. Yes, he is a medical doctor, doctor of medicine, MD degree from Cornell University Medical College, now Weill Cornell Medicine in 1966, graduating first in his class. Internship, residency, internal medicine, New York Hospital. board certified internal medicine, infectious disease, allergy, and immunology, physician scientist practicing medicine for decades at the NIH, National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, NIAID, 84 to 22, focusing on immunology and infectious disease, authored and co-authored 1,300 scientific publications. Not just a researcher, trained and worked as a practicing physician before shifting heavily into public health and research leadership. Claims questioning his doctor status are usually semantic or political that would confuse MD with PhD, or noting that he hasn't been in full-time clinical practice recently. But they don't change the facts. He holds a legitimate MD, medical, is that just medical doctor, and is a qualified physician. So there you go. Lake Leon says, this guy better watch his back. They may claim he also worked for NASA. Oh, yeah. Marion chiming in, yes, I agree. Replace John Thune. Like Leon's complimenting the tie on this guy. Bill Nye, the tie guy.
After he received freedom of information.
Let me reset that sentence so you can catch up on this. It's super important.
Lab in China, all to help restore
a little before. There we go.
Washington.
Now, it is, Bill. The Justice Department has charged David Morins, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morins, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the...
Okay, now I'm getting more of that tie. By the way, why is he making that Elon Musk 1940s Germany hand sign? Cancel him. Dopey leftists.
The House's COVID select...
This guy looks like Bill Nye, the bow tie guy, over here on the right.
Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021, claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear after he received Freedom of Information Act requests.
Ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record?
No, but let me explain why. When I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morins used his personal Gmail account to exchange non-public information. The indictment also claims an unnamed co-conspirator gave Morins wine for his, quote, behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
Gave him wine? Like Leon says, that's the same guy who said, you don't need to wear a mask. Now wear 2 masks. Get the shot. You can't spread the virus. It is a hideous looking tie. Guilty of fashion crimes.
Frequently, because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morins used his personal Gmail account to exchange non-public information. The indictment also claims an unnamed co-conspirator gave Morins wine for his, quote, behind-the-scenes shenanigans, then suggested he could push scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. That's a competing claim with the lab leak theory. The indictment said...
By the way, semantics matter. How do I make this clear? Stop calling it a lab leak theory. Call it. This is very specific. I've taken a little bit of time to craft these words. A potentially intentional lab release. How else are you going to get rid of Trump? Steamrolling his way to a second term. All your impeachment crap fell by the wayside. Nothing worked. Gotta set him up and call him an insurrectionist. Joe Biden's going to win. Joe Biden? You got to be kidding me. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the 2 dopes polling last and second to last in the Democrat primaries. That was Bernie Sanders' party, and you stole it from him. To put up those 2 clowns. Joe Biden. Right.
As the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that bat coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct that research in China. From the start.
This is like the Democrats taking U.S. aid money, funding the SPLC, who funds the KKK, who stages their little theatrical event where they take a terrarium, drop a tarantula, drop a scorpion inside, get a big scoop of army ants, dump it in, and shake it up and watch them fight. So you could then call Trump a Nazi and call Trump supporters and MAGA Nazis and white supremacists for a fucking decade. Let me rewind it just so we try to crystallize what they're saying he did here, that this was the NIH. They can't do gain of research funding, so they fund the National Institute, what is it, the virology lab in Wuhan, and then it's intentionally released, potentially, or accidentally released. You want to talk about a war criminal?
Behind-the-scenes shenanigans, then suggested he could push scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. That's a
natural origins. Marion, natural origins, my arse. Lake Leon, it's all by Sassine. Just kidding, design.
competing claim with the lab leak theory.
I got censored on a podcast in China because I talked about the release from the Wuhan virology laboratory. That part had to get taken out. Now, the communist leaders of that country didn't want that information coming out in 2019, 2020, whenever I did that interview. Big fish in the little kingdom. But I got the final version, and my, oh my, did it delete part of what I said. A lot of good parts that I was correct on, but you weren't allowed to tell the truth. And if the Democrats ever get power again, you're never going to be allowed to speak. You're never going to be allowed to drive. You're never going to be allowed to own anything. You're never going to live a normal life if you let Democrats ever get near the podium of power again. Vote every one of them out, indict the traitors, rinse and repeat.
Indictment says the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that bat coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance.
EcoHealth, this is the part I want to get one more time.
And Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that bat coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
They just outsourced it. Democrats seized power. Oh, here's U.S. aid. Great, it's a slush fund. We're going to give U.S. aid money to SPLC, who's going to give it to the KKK, who's going to stage a little play and make white people and MAGA members and men and Christians look like monsters so we can just oppose them on fake narratives forever. Because we have nothing to run on. We have to frame innocent people of being monsters. NIH, nope, you can't do that. Gain of function research, it's too dangerous. We don't want this turning into something like Stephen King's The Stand. Okay, we'll just do it in China. We're going to take that money and do it in China, but we can't get caught. So if this happens, if it's released, if this all goes haywire, we have to deny, we have to cover up, and that's exactly what they did do, allegedly.
To conduct that research in China. From the start of the pandemic, its president, Peter Daszak, worked to discredit any theory that COVID-19 had leaked from that lab.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rich. More to come. Rich Edson on that story.
Lying to us about the origin story. A bioweapon released by China. And you're not allowed to talk about it because the SPLC recommends dangerous media outlets that should not be amplified on social media. The New American Media Facebook page deleted. The New American Media monetization on YouTube taken away. Copyright strikes and terms of service and what do they call it? Community guidelines, super vague. Deleted my personal profile on Facebook, deleted my Instagram page. Because the Democrats outsourced their censorship to SPLC to recommend it, to push it, pseudo-demand it from the social media companies who willingly obliged because they didn't want to be on the wrong end of that arm twist. You don't despise the Democrats enough. So keep your eyes peeled on this. This dude could throw Anthony Fauci under the bus. Please hold Fauci accountable. California monster. Well, do they tell the story?
15-year-old Adrian A.J. Gonzalez lured 8-year-old.
Where is this at? It doesn't tell me the state. Don Keith. I don't know who this is. Is this a real story? Host of The Real Beef with Don Keith.
15-year-old Adrian A.J. Gonzalez.
Oh, it's California. I'm sorry.
Lured 8-year-old Madison Maddie Middleton with ice cream, then brutally raped and murdered her in Santa Cruz.
Dude, an 8-year-old. String him up, public square. What are we doing? Make an example out of the demons. Tell them you're not allowed to reign here. Democrats don't ever do that.
Tried as a juvenile thanks to California laws, he was set to walk free at 25 under...
Don Keith says, how in the F was he tried as a juvenile at age 21? That doesn't make any sense.
Prop 57, but a jury just said no, he's still a danger. This is what happens when juvenile justice puts predators before kids. Justice delayed, but at least she's still protected for now.
Huh? She's not protected. What does that even mean? He got max 3 years under Kamala Harris's Prop 57 law. And now at 25, he's set for release. So what is the 2015 case? Ugh. Prop 57. Oh. So wait, he was 14 or 15, 11 years ago? Ugh. No soft on crime. Just, you got to be harsh on monsters. This is the quote I was starting to tell you about here. Elon said, here's an excellent point. If you got pejoratives for every group of people that criticize, you're anti-Semitic. If you ever question anything about the state of Israel, or the state of isn't real, as some will call it, you're anti-Semitic. You're an Islamophobe if you don't want women being stoned to death and they don't have to walk around in burlap sacks in 137-degree weather. And if you're going to throw gay people off a building just for existing, if you're against that, you're Islamophobic. What do you mean you don't want a 15-year-old boy hanging out, lurking and leering at all of the sweaty, naked girls in the shower in high school? You're a transphobe. Cool. All these great names. Now, what happens when you criticize me? Says this guy. It's a great question. Let's take a listen.
Because that's what it seems like. It seems like racist equals white. Because no black man can be racist to me. If I criticize a Jew, I'm an anti-Semite. If I criticize an Islamic, I'm an Islamophobe. What are you if you criticize me? What are you if you try and replace me? What are you if you try and tell me I'm wrong for wanting to protect my children? Apparently, you're a perfectly reasonable person, but I'm a racist for wanting to protect my future. No, bullshit. I don't accept the 14 words as a thing. I think it's ridiculous that anyone could even say that they own this concept, as every human thinks this thing. Black people go on and on and on about black. Asians, like Indians, will tell you that India is the best at this. This is Indian, that's Indian, everything's brilliant that is Indian. Good for you. You love your people. I'm glad for you. I love mine. But don't call me on a racist just because you don't like the word white. If you don't like the word white, maybe you shouldn't live in a white country. Like, really, if you don't like white people, go away. White people live here. I'm really sick of it. I'll be honest, I'm really sick of it. I'm sick of us being exceptionalized. This is happening every Western country. What we used to call Christendom is under attack by its own people, by its own elite. And we're supposed to just sit here and be arrested for having an opinion. No, I'm not a racist because I'm white. I'm a racist because I'm a human. Every fucking human is racist. It's normal to love your own people more than you love other people. It's normal. The creation of the word racist doesn't suddenly make me an evil person. It's a concept. It's not even a real thing. It's called in-group bias and out-group bias. It's genetics. It's frustrating, to be honest, that these questions even exist.
This feels AI.
Because that's what it seems like. It seems like racist equals white.
Who is speaking? Is the video AI? Robin Pickett is the speaker. British ethno-nationalist activist who appeared in interviews at Unite the Kingdom. Comes from a longer interview discussing free speech. Okay. It's real. All right. I just wanted to check. That's a good point, says Elon Musk. Elon also says if they're willing to die to assassinate, imagine what they will do if they gain political power. Yeah, I'll show you this. The billionaire tax. You've heard this thing? Well, be aware. This is what California's trying to do. Coming to a place near you.
They called it a billionaire tax. I call it a trap. Here's the receipts. Page 26, section 50310. I'm reading this word for word from the actual bill. The legislature may amend the 2026 Billionaire Tax Act by roll call vote if the statute furthers the purposes of the act. Translation: you vote yes in November thinking you're taxing 200 billionaires. After that, Sacramento takes the wheel. They can lower the threshold, make it annual, make it permanent, drop it from $1 billion to whatever they need. No ballot measure, no special elections. I'm asking you again, ever. You handed them the keys. Same thing they did with AB 130. Newsom said he'd never sign a mileage tax.
After this was posted, I spoke with the governor's office, which confirmed, no, the governor will not sign a mileage tax.
Page 137, already signed, already law. Page 26 is the new page 137. And they're betting you won't read it. I did. This is what I mean. This is real talk.
California at it again. No surprise. Marion, by golly, but I agree with that chap's point. Jolly old England, isn't it? What is this here? Obama's telling phrase after the Correspondents' Dinner shooting. Former President Barack Hussein Obama posted on X in response to the attempted shooting of President Donald Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The post began with a familiar formula. Although we don't yet have all the details about the motives behind last night's shooting. And yet, almost instantly, the moral framing is already in place. It's a bit like a disciplined defense in football. The left defends every blade of grass. Nothing is conceded. No ground is given, not even in the first moments when facts are still emerging. Every inch of interpretation is contested immediately. This is the toolkit of an elite communicator, skills that helped him get to the top, deployed with the confidence that perception can be shaped at scale. This is from Daily Signal. He is using these tools to condition Americans. Built into the former president's remarks is deflection. He's attempting to sever any link between rhetoric and consequences, because if that link takes hold, it constrains what can be said next. The potential cause and effect is so politically costly that it's easier to obscure it than to reckon with it. Scions of the left, like the former president, guide perception. They set boundaries, create permission structures of how events are interpreted. In modern political communication, uncertainty about facts rarely slows down the narrative. If anything, it accelerates it. A lack of clarity creates space, and that space gets filled quickly, often before the public has time to process what really happened. That is clearly a strategic move. Language like Obama's doesn't confront emerging conclusions head on. It redirects them. It encourages hesitation at the precise moment people are forming judgments, subtly shifting the focus from what's visible to what might still be unknown. Don't jump to conclusions. Motives are unclear. Let's see more facts. It sounds measured, But the practical effect is to interpret momentum, slow the natural formation of judgment, and then replace it with uncertainty that can be shaped over time. And that delay matters, because once initial reactions are softened, interpretation becomes more fluid and easier to guide. This isn't aimed at people who are already certain. It's aimed at those who feel tension but aren't sure how to resolve it. The language offers an escape hatch, a way to stay in that uncertainty without committing one way or another. And it doesn't just influence supporters. It complicates the response from critics. It forces critics to defend what moments earlier felt obvious, while opening them up to being dismissed as premature or politically motivated. The field tightens around the interpretation of events. Reality becomes contested terrain. This broader communication model of narrative first, facts later, is at the core of what's explored in You Don't Know Barack, exposing Obama. The myth, the image, a carefully managed story of this man is compared to the underlying record. First as candidate, then as president, Obama refined this model of communication, and its influence didn't end with his presidency. There's another layer here that matters just as much. Obama understands his influence. He knows that when he speaks, millions of people take cues from him. For many, his words still carry real weight, unfortunately. That brings responsibility, because when someone with that level of authority emphasizes uncertainty, he isn't just describing a lack of information, he's shaping how that lack of information is interpreted. He's setting the tone for how others respond. At this point, that pattern is well established. The outcomes are predictable, the effects are known. We were told his presidency would unify the country. Instead, the years that followed saw deepening cultural and political fractures that continue to define American life. Whether by design or by effect, the gap between rhetoric and reality has widened. Even his legacy projects reflect that divide. The Obama Presidential Center in Chicago has been praised in elite circles, but criticized locally as out of touch with real concerns about displacement. Image over impact and narrative over substance. That pattern holds. And it brings us back to moments like this. Language at this level isn't passive, it shapes perception. It defines what people feel permitted to believe or question. You don't get to indulge this kind of framing, normalize it, elevate those who deploy it, and then act surprised when the downstream effects are confusion and distrust. When clarity is repeatedly softened into ambiguity, people stop trusting their own judgment. And when truth itself feels negotiable, the consequences are inevitable. Those paying attention can see it clearly. This is the craft of a master operator, calculated, disciplined, and rooted in a cynical approach that has long disguised division as something else. Not caution, not restraint, but design. Steve Cortez. Pretty good article, I think. Well said. What's up, Dina? Thank you, everybody, being in chat. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, share the show with a friend. We want to double the size of the show, and then double that, and then double that, and then double that. If you like the program, consider signing up to become a monthly sponsor on Patreon. We post, I guess I better make another post, twice a month over there. And then you can subscribe on Rumble and YouTube. Throw a couple bucks into the bucket to support the things that you like. Also, Rumble rant tips and Super Chat tips for one-offs, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. All right. Breitbart News here says Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, who just won the Illinois Democrat primary for U.S. Senate, shot an intro clip endorsing this hearing, which calls for a $16 trillion radicalized wealth transfer. I stand with you in this work. Good grief. A presenter at Illinois Reparations Commission gives away the game. What is their plan?
That it's impossible, actually, for all states and localities to meet the task of closing the racial wealth gap. Their combined budgets across the United States are $5 trillion, and we've just said that the minimum that's required to eliminate the racial wealth gap is $16 trillion.
They want to steal money. $16 trillion radicalized wealth transfer. You want to let Democrats get back in office? No. Vote them out. Check out yesterday's show, the TNAM Daily Show. Trump targeted again. California teacher brainwashed by Democrat media lies. Arrested. DDS North says healthcare means insurance profiting off human illness, and especially birthing babies in suffering. It means putting profit before human life, bankrupting citizens if they need healthcare. That's not healthcare, it's extortion. Extortionate profiting. In sports, who was named Executive of the Year? Brad Stevens of the Boston Celtics. Cavs are tied 2-2. They got some splaining to do. Andy No reports King Charles and Queen Camilla arrive in the U.S. Capitol for a historic state visit. Many British leftists had wanted the visit canceled. The king will become the second British monarch to address Congress. Oh, I'm sure we'll have video of that by tomorrow, perhaps. This just in. Oh my gosh. Lake Leon, take a look at this. Dina, you are so right. Democrats need to move the hell away. You don't like it here? Get the first flight out. I edited that in real time. Democrats should move away and make their own country. Yes. Go. Build your utopia and let it crash and burn. Have fun. Leave me alone. Forever. Lake Leon, did you see this story? Sorry if I'm yelling. I can't stop yelling. What is that? Why are we all yelling? Eric Daughtry reports this. This is the epic moment as President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump go for a stroll on the south lawn of the White House. Hanging out with King Charles and Queen Camilla. Guess what they're visiting? Melania's new beehive. He's got a beehive. Oh, beehive. Is it an apiary or just a beehive? Curious to see how that. This is happening now. The trial has begun. Scam Altman, as Elon calls him, didn't tell the OpenAI board that he owned the OpenAI startup fund. Altman lied in congressional testimony that he didn't have financial gain from OpenAI. Ex-board member of OpenAI calls Sam Altman a liar. He lied to the board for years, hid ChatGPT launch, lied about owning startup fund, falsified safety info, and then lied to oust her after her paper. The board lost all trust and fired him. Sam Altman is a liar. Okay. That's the claim. Riley Gaines just had a kid, and she's like, what the heck is going on?
I gave birth to this perfect, precious little angel in September of last year. It is April, nearly May of the next year, and I am getting bills in the mail nearly every single week. Let's look at them. Okay, this one is a bill for $2,000. The service description literally just says vaginal birth. Here's another bill for $1,261. What's the description for? Actually, it doesn't even say. Here's another one for $336. The service description is subsequent hospital care. What does that mean? Here's another $675 charge for hospital discharge day. What service is it? You're just charging me for discharge day?
Healthcare has been absolutely ruined by Obamacare. Absolutely ruined. Show me somewhere else that you're going to go shopping and you're going to get extra fees. If you go to the grocery store, you go to Target, or you go to a car dealership, and they're just going to keep throwing bills at you. That's what the healthcare industry does. It's pretty crazy. and it's got to get fixed.
It says on this bill that our insurance information wasn't provided, but our insurance was provided on every other bill. I don't know. None of it makes sense. My husband just called. He was on the phone for 20 minutes. And we got no answers. They said they could get back to us in the next 90 days. You have to assume that they just hope people pay these without asking any questions. Since President Trump has signed his executive order for hospital price transparency, only 1/3 of hospitals are in compliance. President Trump has done what he can do. We need legislators to act to rein in these unchecked practices and to protect patients and taxpayers from a system designed to exploit them. The markups and the confusion are out of control.
Do you agree or disagree with Riley Gaines' complaints there? I'm going to agree. Dina says, I agree. Hated Obamacare. Socialist. Look, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you're going to keep your doctor. And, the cost of the Affordable Care Act, don't call it Obamacare. It's going to be about as cheap as a cable bill. The cost is going to necessarily plummet. All lies. All lies. Lost my plan, lost my doctor, my plan more than doubled. Lie, 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 destroyed healthcare. Not that it was great before. Dina agrees with Riley Gaines. Marion agrees. Marion, yes, surprisingly, the grocery store doesn't charge fees for the frozen section or the water mists in the produce aisles. But when you get home, you'll get some additional bills. That's why they want you to swipe your, your Target card, your Meijer card, your Walmart card, or whatever everybody wants to track what you're spending. Are you buying candy and alcohol? Are you buying fresh fruit? Hang on, we'll just key into your car. Let's just beep, 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 beep. Now we're watching. What are you loading into your car? We have all these devices. We're watching and listening. In your car, in your home. Leave me alone. I don't know what's going on here, but stay tuned. Vince Langman says that Roseanne is, she's got a request for you.
So I'm going to ask you guys to pray for me, to just pray for me.
That's it. Do we have any context here? Recent health concerns. April 26th, disclosure of a damaged heart, potential surgery, medical update. Oh, she's an evil, vile racist. Huh? She's an evil, vile racist. Remember that quote from that guy earlier? The most racist person you know would still save a brown person from a burning building. And the least racist woman you know would laugh at your funeral if you voted the wrong way. Roseanne. Your Roseanne is Kia Tesla, burn a Tesla. Be gone, demons. Be gone. Roseanne said, what's that lady's name? Resembled a character on Planet of the Apes. Not Dr. Zaius, but Planet of the Apes, and like the suits that they were wearing, and she would always wear these pantsuits like a la Hillary Clinton. Valerie Jarrett. I mean, she sort of presents as white, but apparently she's part black or all black or something. And of course, the Democrats, because Roseanne was speaking positively about Trump or common sense or normal politics. She's a comedian, she's a wacko, and she's fun and all those things combined. But they had to cancel her because she's a racist. It's like, I had no idea she wasn't white. And if you compare the characters side by side, from the dress to the haircuts to, there were resemblances. Like what? You can't compare things? Take her show away. I know it's got her name in it, but take it, destroy her. They'll know better than to ever say anything I dislike again. See, we're back to hate speech. Being protected. Yeah, you're protected to say whatever you want, but you're not protected from the consequences of me becoming a social justice warrior to ruin your life. Okay, raging, frothing leftist. Cool story, go away. Leave me alone forever. Oh, did she get the thing? Yeah, maybe she's Iranian, but you can't compare people to monkeys, but like the missing link and Lucy, and we all have similar DNA, and we're all, if you believe evolution, which, you know, to some degree you do, but then to others, it's like, hold on, a big bang of nothing created everything. Cool story. Yeah, so you had a speck of dust, and then it grows into an amoeba, and then it grows into a frog, and then it grows into a human. Huh? Doesn't make any fucking sense. That's your story? I'm going to have to disagree with that. Yeah, is she Iranian? Is she black? I don't know. She's a terrible policymaker who pretty much had her fingerprints all over the Biden, well, the third Obama term. So yeah, dear Lord Heavenly Father, even though she is Jewish and maybe your grace might normally miss a Jew, I do ask for your help in guiding Roseanne's. This prayer's already off the rails. But she is very outspoken about being a Jew. Dear Lord Heavenly Father, grant wisdom to her medical team, strength and healing to her body as she battles this difficulty. And should it be in your will to do so, remove her ailing, remove her afflictions. In your name we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, prayers to Roseanne. Oh, now here's a wild story. Chicago police officer emmed in a hospital by a career criminal.
Chicago police officers killing one inside a hospital on Saturday. The suspect was arrested for allegedly robbing a store and was brought to the hospital for observation.
Brought to the hospital for observation. Those appear to be face tattoos. Oh, look, it looks like he has a target on his head. See that? Nothing weird about that.
But prosecutors say that's when he pulled a gun from underneath his blanket and opened fire, killing Officer John Bartholomew and critically injuring another. Police say he then jumped out the window, still nude in his hospital gown, and hid under a nearby porch until he was re-arrested. At the time of the shooting, he was reportedly out of jail on pre-trial release for a previous armed robbery case.
Why are you letting armed robbers out of jail? The fuck is wrong with you, Democrats? This should have never happened because he should have been in a cage. Someone explain to me in some excuse me, in terms I can understand. Where the fuck is the benefit to society to letting monsters with tattoo targets on their skull out to just be free range, free roaming criminals to do more bad shit? Tell me where that makes any sense anywhere to anyone on this planet. I mean, for the love of God.
Suspect now faces more than 20 felonies and is due back in court this morning.
Maybe you'll release him again.
More than 1,000 TSA officers have quit since the ongoing DHS Chicago.
Yeah, all right. Way to take a situation and make it much worse. That's what happens when criminals are repeatedly released back onto the streets. Yep, a good cop is dead because Chicago's soft on crime policies failed again. It is time to hold the judges accountable, says Gunther. I agree. The Eric Daughtry says here's a leftist kindergarten teacher, commie. Is she a commie? Does it say communist in there? I don't know. officially fired from her Ohio job after she did this. Remember, give your kids over to the state for 8 hours a day so they can mold their brains. No thanks.
Man, there's been a few creators on here saying that like Friday or yesterday could have been the day.
Could have been the day. You know, the attack to try to eliminate President Trump.
And then I wake up to that news, but not that news.
You heard that something happened, but it wasn't successful. Can we do matching crazy eyes? Not that news. Crazy eyes. Am I doing it right? You know, something happened, but it wasn't successful. So, I'm so disappointed. Are you kidding me?
We're going to have to pay really close attention to what they're trying to actually distract us from.
They're trying to actually distract us from something. It didn't really happen, or it did, but Trump did it to himself again. Because I blame everything on Trump or the Jews. Okay. Or Obama. Thanks, Obama. I don't know. This wasn't the worst one, but that was a bad one. I wouldn't want that person teaching my kid. So X-Freeze explains this case with Elon. It says, interesting how it works. Elon puts up his own money, rounds up the absolute best AI talent on the planet, leverages every connection he has to secure serious resources, launches OpenAI in 2015 as a pure nonprofit explicitly created to develop AI for the benefit of humanity, with zero profit motive and open research. Then the team decides that they want the bag. They push Elon out, they take control, and quietly flip the entire thing into a for-profit machine. Well, that sounds like Tesla Edison, doesn't it? All while preaching the same sanctimonious lines on repeat. Quote, we're still mission-driven. AI for the good of humanity. We'd never abandon our principles. The ultimate betrayal? Elon got zero equity, not a single share. He funded it, built the foundation, got nothing while they turned his nonprofit into their personal cash cow. This is the level of betrayal and hypocrisy that we're dealing with. And for the record, this lawsuit doesn't put a single penny in Elon's pocket. Any win goes straight back to the nonprofit to restore the exact mission that he founded. OpenAI Newsroom says we can't wait to make our case in court where both the truth and the law are on our side. This lawsuit has always been a baseless and jealous bid to derail a competitor. We'll also finally have the chance to question Mr. Musk under oath before a jury of Californians about this. Readers added the context that a federal judge ruling said ample evidence of Musk's claims and case has proceeded to jury trial on breach of charitable trust and unjust enrichment. Musk co-founded OpenAI as a nonprofit and donated over $44 million with the understanding it would remain mission-aligned and benefit humanity. Yeah, John says Microsoft should be busted into 1 billion pieces for their part in this scam. Stop working with OpenAI and scam Altman, says another poster. Elon says scam Altman and Greg Stockman stole a charity. Full stop. Greg got tens of billions of stock for himself, and Scam got dozens of OpenAI side deals with a piece of the action for himself. Y Combinator style. Don't know what that means. After this lawsuit, Scam will also be awarded tens of billions in stock directly. The fundamental question is simply this. Do you want to set legal precedent in the United States that it's okay to loot at charity? If so, you undermine all charitable giving in the United States forever. I could have started OpenAI as a for-profit corporation. Instead, I started it, funded it, recruited critical talent, and taught them everything I know about how to make a startup successful for the public good. Then they stole the charity. All right, folks, this is the top story of the day, something we should all be outraged about. All vehicles made in 2027 will be required to have a kill switch. Mr. Nobody reported this. Not sure who this account is. Full disclosure. Demon Slayer, satire page, entertainment purposes only, truth seeker. Not sure who this girl is, but let's take a listen.
What's official, you guys? Kill switches are coming to new vehicles. Something you'd expect out of Orwell's 1984, and yet 57 House Republicans joined Democrats to ensure the government can shut off your vehicle whenever it wants.
Why? Yeah. So now back to what I've been talking about with Fauci, what I've been talking about 2020, the tech censorship, debanking. Remember that up in Canada? All this stuff, it's all connected. It's all connected. You won't be allowed to go anywhere. You're going to become a prisoner of your locale. You're not even going to be able to get in your car and go anywhere, escape anywhere. Trapped, kill switch, done. You can't post on Twitter. You can't have an account or a group or a company page on Facebook. You can't monetize content on YouTube. Fuck you. You're telling harmful misinformation that COVID could have came from a Fauci-funded NIH scam in Wuhan, China? No, there's a fake story out there of a pangolin kissed a bat. You must go with that. And that is that. You can't have a bank account. You were part of the trucker rally against the COVID tyranny in Canada. You can't, exist, let alone drive your truck. Kill switch. You're turned off. You're depersoned, you're deplatformed, dehumanized, destroyed. The left are vindictive control freaks who want to hunt you, are hunting you, have been hunting you. Resist that. Expose that. Pass the Save America Act. Vote them out once and for all. Never allow them to sniff power ever again and charge the most criminal element with the maximum penalty for their crimes. Gain of function Fauci, indeed. Oh, that's a good point, Dina, about looting charities. Hillary did. The Haiti one. Yeah.
Makes cars more expensive and puts the government in your car.
I don't want the government in my car. I don't want them in my bedroom. I do not want them in a house. I do not want them with a mouse. I do not want them here or there. I do not want them anywhere. Get the fuck out of our lives. Have I made myself clear? I don't speak for me. I speak for many, many men. That's a callback to, if you remember that video I played with President Trump talking about how they assassinate the people that they try to assassinate the people that are getting things done that are consequential and then leave the other ones alone. They're playing the 50 Cent song, Many Men, that are, they sick the bad people on the good people. Yeah, the GOP are weak and cowards. But Thomas Massey here, he's got a point.
It's a law that states that every vehicle manufactured is going to have a kill switch in it. The car itself will monitor your driving. And if the car thinks that you're not doing a good job driving, it will disable itself. So the car dashboard becomes your judge, your jury, and your executioner.
This sounds an awful lot like that new movie Mercy that just came out, which takes place in the not so distant future, 2029 to be exact, where he has to prove himself innocent to the AI judge, jury, and executioner. Now this mandate for
What's the name of that movie? I've seen a commercial for that.
Judge, your jury, and your executioner.
This sounds an awful lot like that new movie Mercy that just came out, which takes place in the not so distant future, 2029 to be exact, where he has to prove himself innocent to the AI judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah. Big difference. Innocent unless proven otherwise versus you wouldn't have been arrested unless you did something to deserve it. Go ahead. You proved to me you were wrong, goody good wife. We're going to tie you up and put a weight around your waist and toss you into this lagoon. Of course, if you are a witch, you're going to fly out of there and... But what if she's not a witch? Well, then she'll die a good, honorable Christian death. Huh? No. No. Yeah, there's another one. Please don't use the kill switch when I'm driving over railroad tracks, please. Now, there was a high-profile murder, assassination, or just an accident. Michael Hastings, the journalist who might have ruffled some feathers in the Department of Defense. When I was living in Los Angeles, his vehicle took off roughly 130 miles an hour and hit a palm tree. I've driven past that intersection many times. The engine ended up something like a football field or 2 football fields in the opposite direction, an explosion. And it was long suspected that that was a remote-controlled car. That they took over the car, they accelerated him through and exploded him and had something attached and made it look like a crash, but it wasn't. Now, maybe it was Michael Hastings just driving recklessly and he got what he deserved, or Michael Hastings was taken out by the deep state because he talked too much, knew too much, and protesteth too much. Not only with a kill switch could they shut your car off, couldn't they do other things with you in that car?
Now, this mandate for vehicles to be able to shut...
I'm sorry, did somebody say mandate? It's Lindsey Graham again. Just got back from Ukraine and Israel, my favorite places. But I heard mandate, and I could go for a mandate. Lindsay, I'm going to have to speak on behalf of President Trump here. Please sit down and shut the fuck up. Anything you do in your private life is fine, but don't bring it into the podcast, please. We're trying to focus on health and safety. Okay, well, just let me know if there's another mandate. Heavens to Murgatroyd, I love me a mandate.
Themselves off was actually put into law in 2021 under the Biden administration under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Now, what was voted on the 22nd was the funding for this, to which Representative Massey from Kentucky offered an amendment to just the funding for the kill switch portion of the Investment and Jobs Act, and that's what was voted on. And this is
getting a little in the weeds, but I do want to make sure I have the core components here. This is from 2021.
Themselves off was actually put into law in 2021 under the Biden administration under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Now, what was voted on the 22nd was the funding for this, to which Representative Massey from Kentucky offered an amendment to just the funding for the kill switch portion of the Investment and Jobs Act.
Now, what we need are more single item bills. I don't want a 1,300-page monstrosity that nobody understands, and you trick them and you get a little bit of language in there, and like you turn over the keys to California, it's a billionaire tax, or whoever we feel like taxing. It's not okay. That's slimy. That's theft.
And that's what was voted on. And this is how the votes went.
And you had 57 Republicans. So to the people that say, where's the action? Where are the indictments? Where's the action? When are you going to get to the bottom of taking the deep state out? Bro, you have the House, you have the Congress, you have the presidency, you have the Supreme Court. No, you don't. 57 fucking Republicans. Sorry, guys. This just angers me. I sometimes curse for effect. I sometimes curse because it's just how I'm feeling in the moment. But some shows I feel like I'm doing a little too much. So let me back off a little bit. What the fuck are those 57 Republicans doing? In what universe could a Republican support something Orwellian like this? There's no universe. These are not Republicans. Trump does not have Congress yet. But if you pass the Save America Act and only American citizens can vote, and you're going to have one-day voting and none of this mail-in bullshit, it should be a massive red wave that we've been waiting on. Term after term after term, and somehow they keep it pretty close, sort of close, mostly close. How? I don't think they're earning it. I don't think the Democrats are really getting all these votes, but they're getting away with it. And the Republicans, you're almost worse than the fucking Democrats. You're almost worse. Maybe you are worse. Because at least the Democrats are willing to stick together and be honest about their stupidity. You guys infight with circular firing squads, wasting slim majorities when you should be passing things. And you're lying about your true intentions. You're wolves in sheep's clothing. You are Republicans in name only. You are Democrats posing as Republicans. But it gives you the chance to blame this on Trump for not being able to build a coalition of his own followers. Oh, he's lost. MAGA's starting to fail. Look, even the Republicans are turning on Trump. These aren't Republicans. I hate the Republican Party. Don't get it twisted. I can't stand the Republican Party. The only thing worse than a Republican is a Democrat. I don't like either of them because I think they're on the same team for the most part. 57 Republicans wouldn't just pass this thing through. 57.
These are all the ones that voted against stopping the fund.
Now, what would the math be? Where's the device? All right, so what do we got? If 57 added to 163, that'd be 220. If you take 268 and you subtract 57, that's 211. This should have been a 220 to 211 Republican victory, but instead, you sold us out. You sold us out, you fake Republicans. I loathe this vote, and I loathe you who voted this way.
And these are all the ones that voted for stopping the funding for kill switches. Now, the argument for this is that it will stop drunk and distracted driving, but no one knows yet how far this technology will go. Will it include cameras? Will it include sensors? Will it include breathalyzers? Will your insurance company have access to this? Will your Fourth Amendment constitutional rights be violated?
Of course. There's no reasonable cause for search and seizure.
Next thing is going to be, well, we need to hook this thing up to the government so we can dispatch the police. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen next.
You're going to get locked in your car and you're going to get driven to the police station.
They're going to be shutting your car off when they decide whatever they decide from wherever they decided.
Well, you can't just go out there saying that the 2020 election was super suspect. You're a threat to society. We need to have you arrested. Now we know where you are. You're inside a car. We're going to lock you in your car if we don't drive you 120 miles into a palm tree. If we don't... Hold on. Got to grab this story. Hey, Jamie, pull up Mitch McConnell, his sister-in-law in the lake in the car. Angela Chao, sister-in-law of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, married to Elaine Chao, Angela's older sister, died in a car accident on, interesting way to phrase it, died in a car accident on February 10, 2024, at a private family ranch in Blanco County, Texas. She was driving or reversing her Tesla Model X after a gathering with friends. While attempting a three-point turn, she accidentally put the car in reverse, or did she, instead of drive, and then backed into a pond, sometimes described as a lake. The vehicle became fully submerged. Chow was trapped inside and called a friend in a panic for help around 11:42 p.m. Friends and first responders tried to rescue her for over an hour, but they couldn't break the windows or pull the car out quickly enough. A tow truck's chains were too short and she drowned. Toxicology showed her blood alcohol concentration 0.233, well above the legal limit, allegedly. Said it was an unfortunate accident. 50 years old, CEO of a shipping company, Formont Group. Or was that to send a message to Mitch?
Well, look, they told me I need to be up here as a turtle. I need to vote with China and against President Trump, or else they'll do that to me or to my wife or to my kids. It was a threat. I mean, I can't talk about that. No, the feed didn't glitch. I was just having in fact, they call me Glitch McConnell.
Was it a message to Mitch and his wife and the GOP? How much do you trust these self-driving cars?
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about what you think about due process and the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment. And
The Fourth Amendment was the fourth most important thing that they wrote.
and the right to not be imposed upon by illegal, unlawful search and seizure, but punishing everybody for this crime, whether they've committed it or not, if they're going to commit it or not, should be unconstitutional. This shouldn't really be a question.
Will this end up being government overreach, you guys? Really think about this.
It already
Massey
is.
brought up a good point during his talk where he was saying, what if you're a mother, you want to go get some stuff because a snowstorm is coming, you swerve to miss a pothole, you swerve to miss an animal, you do something that the car doesn't like, and then the car then shuts itself off, and then what? You have to sit on the side of the road and wait for the police to come and deem that you are worthy to drive? Will this throw your Fourth Amendment right to unreasonable search and seizures out the window because your car said so?
Yeah, I don't like any of this. I don't know who this girl is. Mr. Nobody shared it.
What's official, you guys? Kill switches are coming to new vehicles.
All right. So yeah, every new car in the U.S. required by law to have tech that puts constant surveillance on the driver by 2027, says Puberty. AI in your car determines if you're sober, fit to drive, automatically turning off a vehicle if it determines you're a danger on the road. Thomas Massey, would you believe 57 Republicans and 211 Democrats recently voted in favor of this Orwellian automobile kill switch? And there's the roll call for the vote that he forced to defund the mandate. Hi, Thomas Massey. Can I call you Tommy? I heard that you're having a mandate over here. This is Lindsey Graham. Lindsay, for fuck's sake, take a walk. Okay. Heavens to Murgatroyd, though. You don't have to be mean about it. The artist known as Jess says, imagine what they would have done to you during Corona if they had the ability to turn off your car. None of what this government does is for your safety. It's for them to control you. Good luck to you all. Long live the Republic. Oh, and here's another one. This guy's truck has a license plate that trips the flock cameras. Flock cameras. When did we vote for flock cameras? When do you want to be on a surveillance grid where you can't just roam the countryside and be left alone? You know, just drive, be left alone. This guy's getting pulled over incessantly because police are getting notified that a car in the area has a warrant. He doesn't have a warrant. Neither does his vehicle. Apparently, flock cameras can't tell the difference between a 0 and an O, so they put a warrant out for both plates. Are you feeling surveilled yet? When did we approve flock cameras? When did flock cameras pass the Fourth Amendment challenge at the Supreme Court? Hello, Supreme Court. Is this thing on? Now, here's a social media manager for UHC, United Healthcare. Did she have any thoughts on the terrorist attack at the presidential correspondence dinner?
We're cooked as a country when my first reaction to hearing the news about Trump's attempt was, it was probably fake. Like, immediately I was like, oh, that wasn't real. Probably fake. And the second was, aw, they missed? So happy they missed. Oh. Yeah, that's sad. That's when you know we're cooked.
Yeah. Sad they missed. Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee says, I'd love to hear how UHC plans to respond to the company's social media manager mourning the fact that President Trump survived Saturday's assassination attempt. It's a 3-minute clip, but I do want to see this Jim Henson character from Dark Crystal screaming.
The budget proposal reads like a climate change denier's manifesto. When climate change is flooding our streets, poisoning our air.
Climate change is flooding our streets, poisoning our air. What the fuck are you talking about?
Driving up healthcare and disaster costs.
Driving up costs? What are you talking about? You don't make any sense.
How can the EPA justify abandoning that duty to protect Americans to appease polluters under the false flag of economic growth?
Following the law, Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, where does it say anything about fighting global climate change? Loper Bright, Supreme Court case, you familiar with it?
No, I maybe others are. I'm not, but let me ask.
But that's really important. As a member of Congress, Loper Bright says that we as an agency don't have the authority to get creative. If Section 202 of the Clean Air Act...
No, but you don't have, excuse me, you do not have the right to say climate change does not exist, that it's a hoax, and that's where this administration is coming from.
I understand you're upset that you don't know what Loper Bright is. Do you know what the major policies doctrine is?
I'm upset because...
You know what the major policies doctrine is?
You know what, let me just
You're a member of Congress. You should know.
Well, you have moved from someone who defended the environment.
She's one of the loudest moving people with all of the trinkets on her. She really is like a character out of Dark Crystal, right? The dye in her hair is leaching into her brain, says Marion. Yeah, climate always changes, dummy. Yell at the sun. That's another topic that if you discussed, the Green New scam, there was so much money attached. If you said anything challenging to whatever the Democrat deep state was trying to push to get us off of oil, to get us all on batteries so that they can control us, to drive up the cost, make us more slaves, Google, YouTube would take down your content, demonetize your content, give you a ding for misinformation, disinformation. SPLC would push stuff like that. It's all part of the same fucking system, and they're all doing it. Maybe not all of them, but you know the bad ones that are. She's dressed for Halloween. She's the purple people eater. What was there a purple pie man and strawberry shortcake?
To all of a sudden,
Being very defensive about not knowing the two biggest landmark Supreme Court cases of the last year with regards to your question.
You are very defensive about changing your policy and your positions with regard to the environment.
Okay.
Now, you just tell
Do you want me to tell you what the two biggest Supreme Court
want you to
cases
tell
are of the
me.
last few years?
This is what I want you
Michigan
to tell
versus
me.
EPA.
Whoa.
West Virginia versus EPA.
You know, you're here because you need money from us. So halt for the second and wait for the questions and answer the questions.
Angry purple chihuahua.
Few years.
This is what I want you
Michigan
to tell
versus
me.
EPA.
Whoa.
West Virginia versus EPA.
You know, you're here because you need money from us. So halt for the second and wait for the questions and answer the questions.
Well, I answered your question,
No, you
and
didn't.
you didn't like my answer because
did
you
not
don't know what
answer the
Loper Bright is,
question.
because you don't know what the major policies doctrine is,
Chairman,
because you're asking me about Section 202 of the Clean Air Act, and you don't read it. You don't know what it says.
Listen, and what you want to do is to deny. You want
No,
to.
I actually.
This lady, she's bringing nothing to the table. She doesn't even know what's going on. She's embarrassed. She's embarrassed. Look at all these ladies looking down like, oh, God, this is a train wreck. They're all looking down. They don't want to get involved in this. I've been in a lot of boardrooms with a lot of crazy ladies. Crazy dudes, too. Crazy people. Just look at the body language. She's like, oh, geez. Is this really happening? Oh, boy. Yikes. Yeah, I'm going to just wait this one out. They're all thinking.
Read the law. I do my homework.
Really?
You're just somebody who likes to have the microphone on. You know what I have to do? I read the law.
You know,
I read the
Chairman, I don't
Supreme
have
Court
to listen
cases.
to this, and I would say
No,
that,
what you should do for your constituents is actually read statute.
The budget is at real risk.
Read
Let
your
me tell
Supreme
you,
Court.
This is the Appropriations Committee.
Oh,
you come here.
You care
and
about
you
science?
tell us,
Now you're threatening to defund it?
Oh my God! No, you don't fund
Because
science.
you don't know what Loper Bright is.
climate
Because you don't know what the
deniers.
major policies
You are
doctrine is.
climate
Your message
deniers.
to our folks at the EPA is that you want to
I don't
defund
have
us.
to listen to this BS.
BS. You think I made up these cases?
Yeah, I think you have made up a whole
I
lot
made up Loper Bright. I made up West Virginia versus EPA. I made up Michigan versus EPA.
Whoa is right. What are you doing? Why are you helping polluters?
We're not going to get any very far by talking on top of each other so that no one can hear. If you ask a question, you have to give the witness an opportunity to respond.
I do not have to have the witness attack me. Not.
I was attacked. When I started screaming at him, I was attacked. Representative Andy Ogles facing mass calls to reveal the name of the female reporter who sat next to him at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, who claims the first words after the shooting that she said were...
There was a reporter, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. There was a reporter in the room who was under a table, and when the shots went off and everybody's hiding, she said, "I hope they killed the Orange MF." That was a journalist in the room who was hoping that when she stood up, the President of the United States would be dead. So I'm coming to a public venue where I know it might be hostile to expose myself to an honest dialogue, an open dialogue. And if you ask me a question and I don't have an answer, I will get you something in writing, or we can talk on the phone. But when you have members of the press openly enticing, hoping, talking about killing the chief executive officer of this country, again, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, I don't care. That's a problem.
I'm sorry, what did she say?
I hope they killed the Orange MF.
MFer.
There was a...
Let's get the name. What does Grok say? Do we know the name yet? Who said it? Has not named the female reporter. Say it. All right. I suspect we're going to get a name real soon. Hans Monkey says, wow, this new release from Chuck Grassley on the Clinton Foundation is a staggering 91-page treasure trove. So where are the indictments, people? Maybe something's coming on the Clinton Foundation. Hans Monkey skimmed it, and it's all there. Uranium One, Russia, Boeing, Haiti, Hillary's brother, and all the other stuff. And the FBI did not even open a full investigation. Whereas with Trump, they had one false tip about barroom gossip from 3 months earlier, and they immediately launched a full enterprise investigation. Absolute travesty that Comey, Strzok, Atkinson, who shows up here as well, and others have not been held to account. Who's Atkinson? Not Cheryl Atkinson. Atkins? I don't know who Atkinson is. New FBI Clinton doc reinforces deep state's dual standard of justice. Fingers crossed. Senator John Fetterman just spoke out on the assassination attempt. What do you think Fetterman has to say? Fetterman, anybody?
And I was really stunned. I'm like, the entire line of our succession of our government was right there effectively in like 200 square feet or so. And I'm like, is that really, that's dangerous? Honestly, I never had any idea or thought that they were going to have like an assassination point. But that place was never designed to have an event like that and that kind of a danger. How people remember in 1995 was the Oklahoma bombing there. Can you imagine? You know, they could have had months to plan this. I mean, if you could imagine, we could effectively, if that was planned enough, there could have been a serious danger in our country having many parts of our line of secession taken out.
Make no mistake, this defunding of DHS should be a national scandal. If Republicans defunded DHS and we saw another attempted assassination on a Democrat president, I would hope that the media coverage would be relentless and unforgiving, and I hope that it continues to be now. With the World Cup, America 250, the 2028 Olympics, and a presidential election all ahead, the Democrats' obstruction is placing an enormous and totally pointless burden on the Secret Service that can get more people killed. Enough is enough. There should be no further debate about this. Democrats need to do what President Trump has been calling on them to do for 73 days in a row and fund the Department of Homeland Security, period. This is a national emergency, and every member of Congress needs to put their country over party and get the Department of Homeland Security funded. With that, I will take a few of your questions today. Daniel, thank you for being here. Why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. The president.
All right. I concur. Occasionally Fetterman makes sense, but don't be too enticed. Don't be too tricked into thinking Fetterman knows what's up. He's still, he's not a broken clock. He's definitely got a few numbers missing on the face of that clock, but he got that one right. Bethany Mandel says, imagine Barack Obama surviving 3 assassination attempts, and 18 hours later, a Republican sends a fundraising email like this. Katie Porter, Monster, California, says, fuck Trump. This right after the assassination attempt, the third one. I'm Katie Porter. Some of you know me as the whiteboard lady who held CEOs and billionaires accountable in Congress. No, we know you as the crazy, unhinged lady yelling at your assistant. That's what we know you as. And we do know you as that. She has more to say. No. Doggone it. Got an office spider. Found it. Had it in a cup. Couldn't quite get it into the cup to get it outside. Had a chance to end its life. I just want to take it outside. But man, this thing is relentless. Oh well. She starts with a powerful message that we all agree on. 1, 2, 3, fuck Trump. Lady, you're trying to govern California. Focus. Your reservoirs are dry again after burning the whole east coast or the west coast of your city down. Doggone it. Your inability to firefight burned all of the Palisades down. And your reservoirs are still dry. Focus. Democrats are just like, I hate that guy. Don't we hate that guy? Let's hate that guy. Let's say it with me. I hate that guy. Shut up. Let the adults do the work. If I bring you my automobile because it needs repairs, just fix the car. Don't tell me about F Toyota. I don't care about that. Shut up and focus on what you're... Yeah, we're going to kick Trump's ass in November and stop him in his tracks. Stand up to Trump and his cronies again. What are your plans to fix California? My God, this Trump obsession, this Trump derangement syndrome is just... My God. 18 hours later, that's what comes out. Supreme Court hands Republicans in Texas a win by striking down a lower court block on the state's new congressional district map. Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson dissented. Yeah. Theo Wold says all 3 of the liberal justices dissented from the order allowing Texas to use their new congressional map. But these same justices all voted with the unanimous court back in February to allow California to use its new maps. The 3 liberal justices are simply progressive activists wearing black robe costume. I tweaked the end of that a little bit. John Thune, 73 days of nothing. The Senate could have passed the SAVE Act, and it still can. Mike Lee says we could have passed the Save America Act by now. It's doable. It just takes some time and effort. We could still do it, and we should. And with that, Excuse me. Another glitch on Restream. This is weird. I took the image off of the screen and it doesn't go away. I'm going to have to send him a message. Yeah, this is normally where I take that off the screen and I have a full screen to end the show with. Oh, good. That's helpful. The full screen. Here, let me try it this way. There's my crazy screen. Thank you for being here. Yeah, itsy bitsy. I mean, it's a fast spider. And it's been all over the place. I used to terminate spiders. But now I just take them outside. They eat bugs. I want less bugs. I don't like bugs. I mean, not that I love spiders, but like, you know, they eat bugs. I want less bugs. Dragonflies are good for your yard, apparently. Planting marigold is good for your garden. So much to get caught up on. Thanks for joining me on the spider adventure. And we'll tune in tomorrow at noon for another episode of the TNAM Daily Show, unpacking the interesting stories of the day. Maybe we'll even have a new meme team. Picture of me as Dr. Seuss. I do not want this here. I do not want this there. I do not want this anywhere, or whatever I said. Anyway, yeah, Dina, and California lets the water run off, go to the ocean. It is so poorly managed. Just build the infrastructure to protect your people. Just stop with all the other crap. I hate the other crap. Just do the work. Just do the work. Just paint the building. Just repair the roads. Just fix the stuff that needs fixed. Just fix. Just repair. Just build. Innovate. Just that. Man, the Democrats, they have one guiding principle, and it's hatred of President Trump. And I'm over it. And I ask you to not drink the black Kool-Aid. Do not be disenfranchised. Do not throw in the towel. Don't think that your vote doesn't count, that it doesn't matter. It does. It does. It does. Please help us eliminate the Democrat Party once and for all. Got to pass the Save America Act. I don't think the Democrats will ever win an election anywhere again. I mean, maybe a few here and there, but I mean, almost nowhere would theoretically thrive, in my opinion, if we had free and honest elections. But time will tell. Thune's got to go. That's my take. Yeah, Dina. California, to do that would take brains. So California would obviously have no chance of succeeding there. Well, fingers crossed for a better day. This was a great day. Thank you, everybody. I'm Brian, your bartender, your humble host. If you had a good time for these few hours unpacking the news, having a little fun, getting a little fired up, digging into stories that maybe you were unaware of, building community in our group, please consider dropping a tip on the bar on your way out the door. Time to settle up your checks. My shift is over. I'm just going to slide this over to you. If you want to leave something, please do. The ways you can are signing up to be a monthly sponsor on Patreon. I mean, just $5 or $10 a month makes a big difference. Same with Rumble and YouTube. You just click it to become a membership, I think, or subscriber, whatever that means. That all matters. You can drop a Rumble rant tip or a Super Chat tip, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all scrolling at the bottom of the screen right here. But make sure you hit the thumbs up button on your way out the door. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell. Everybody, please do at least these two things. Sign up for our podcast. It's free. Just click it and become a subscriber. It helps the algorithm to see that more people are subscribing and consuming the content. Patreon has a free page. So if you go to the New American Media on Patreon, it's the way that since we've been so discriminated against and demonetized to keep the lights on, and geez, in this month, the water bill, I've been doing power washing, and man, the water bill goes up pretty fast too when you're running a power washer, cleaning things up. It matters. It all matters. It's all super appreciated, but you can get the free version of Patreon. If you're not going to sign up for $5 or $10 a month, at least sign up for free Patreon. It just tells the algorithm we want to put this out to more people. We want more people to see this. People like it. Even the free accounts matter in the social media algorithmic world that we live in. So thank you, everybody. And invite your friends. Invite your friends to the show. Share a copy of this show to a couple of your smart friends and go, we have a good time talking about the news over here every day. Maybe this show will eventually be early morning. Maybe it'll eventually be in the evenings. For now, it's at noon. That could change, but, you know, we're going to keep talking about what's happening in the universe. I keep looking around for spiders. Like, where is that itsy bitsy spider anyway? What's that guy up to? Or girl? Yes, indeed. And buy some merch. If you want anything, shoot me a Venmo. Put your address in there and we'll get that out to you. All right. Thank you, everyone. Had a great time here with you today. Turns out we had a lot more to say. I thought I was going to do a quick show, and geez, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening in the world, and I appreciate you. Out of all the gin joints in all the world, that's a callback. In comedy, they call that a callback to Marion talking about getting some juniper and making some gin out of vodka. Out of all the gin joints in all the world, I can't believe you walked into mine or stumbled into mine. Walked into mine. Name the movie. Of all the gin joints in all the world, you had to come into mine. And I appreciate you coming into my gin joint and hanging out for a while. But for now, signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.